Aloha and welcome to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We are coming at you live and amplified from Waikiki. If you're watching us live right now online, check out the view. We're just offset from the beach here. We're here in Hawaii, in Honolulu, as UC Riverside men's basketball will be taking on the University of Hawaii tomorrow night, Wednesday night, in Big West Conference play. I'm Pep Fernandez. Jeff Gorham, also live but back in California. Jeff, how's California holding up without me?
It's horrible. It's hot. It's 90 degrees.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like 98. We're up to 85 degrees right now, and yeah, I'm driving. And I wish I was in Waikiki hanging out on the beach.
Oh man, it's awesome. Like it is humid. A lot of the guys, a lot of the players here for UC Riverside have mentioned that, and the coaches as well. It's a little humid, a little sticky out here. We did see a little bit of rain, but the sun is out. It's clear. There's people in the water. The water is perfectly blue, teal in some points. And again, we are a stone's throw. Like, I got a pretty good arm. I used to play baseball back in the day. I got a pretty good arm. I could throw a stone probably into the Pacific Ocean from the balcony here in Waikiki. We got a nice hotel. I'm on the 10th floor, and I'm actually on the balcony right now doing the show and just overlooking the beach. So it's been a great experience so far. We got in late last night. This morning, had breakfast with the team, and we made our way around downtown right here in Waikiki. A lot of the shops did the tourist stuff. I went and put my feet in the water, took some selfies, bought some things for the family back home, and now we're posted up here at the Waikiki. I think it's the Waikiki Aston Hotel, I want to say. And I know the guys, the UC Riverside basketball team, they are taking a tour of Pearl Harbor today. So they're trying to mix in some fun things for the team, some team bonding, and also educational, obviously, going to the Pearl Harbor tour. But me, back home, posted up, hanging out with Jeff Gorham as we are live and amplified here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Jeff, over the next 3 hours, of course, we'll talk about this UC Riverside basketball game as they are taking on Hawaii, trying to get that first Big West Conference victory. But coming up in just about an hour, and this is going to be a real treat because he is a Super Bowl champion. We're talking about the great Kenjon Barner, Notre Dame High School graduate, kick returner for the Philadelphia Eagles. He will join us live on the Inland Sports Show coming up at 4 o'clock. Jeff, we've had some big names on this show, but the timeliness of having Kenjon Barner right after the Super Bowl, that's going to be pretty cool. Are you excited to talk to Kenjon Barner?
I am. You know, we talked to his head coach from high school, Pat Thompson, yesterday when he was at Notre Dame High School, and said such wonderful things about him. That he was a scholar and a gentleman and a great football player. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking with him. I want to ask him, I want to ask him about the hit that the kicker put on him.
Yeah, you know what, because he didn't really see a lot of action because those kickers were doing a great job of kicking the ball into the end zone, a lot of touchbacks, but there was one where Barner was able to bring it out of the end zone, and he did a great job. It was actually a great return, but Steven Gostkowski, the kicker for New England, came up on Barner in a hurry and lifted him off his feet. I mean, it was a pretty good hit for a kicker.
It was a darn good hit, and considering he just missed that extra point by about 20 feet, he had to do something to redeem himself, and it just happened to be at the extent of our Kenjon Barner.
But that's okay. He is still a Super Bowl champion, and he's going to join us at 4 o'clock today here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Also, coming up a little bit later in the show, we're going to have Notre Dame head basketball coach. I guess it's a Notre Dame kind of show today. Rob Robinson's going to join us. Notre Dame still #1 in the latest CIF Southern Section Division 3A boys basketball rankings, and right now they're running away with the Ambassador League championship. And this is a team, Jeff, that was one win away from the state championship last year, and Notre Dame looks like they're going to make another run at the state championship again this year.
Well, this is really a redemption year. I know that they felt, you know, they didn't play their best game in the semifinal going into the state championship, and I think now that he's added a few pieces. Mozgov has been a great addition. I think they have a chance to redeem themselves and possibly get in that championship game this year.
Yeah, it's crazy, but they might actually be better than they were last year. So Rob Robinson will join us actually in the next segment. So in about 15 minutes, the head coach at Notre Dame High School. Also, coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to have the great Vinny Fazio. Nobody knows local football like the great Vinny Fazio. And, Jeff, Vinny Fazio back in the football game. He is coaching once again, so he wants to break the news where he's going to be coaching in the show.
Vinny Fazio is back on the turf?
He is back. He stepped away for one season. He did some broadcasting with us and at IEMG, but he is back. He's coaching once again, so he's going to tell us all about his new coaching gig. And we'll also talk about some of the other openings out there, Beaumont, Redlands, East Valley, even Notre Dame. All of them are getting very, very close to naming their new head football coaches. And I can guarantee you, Jeff, we will break the news on all those jobs right here on the Inland Sports Show because we kind of know where these jobs are going and who those guys might be at this point. But we can't divulge just quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good jobs, and we do know that a couple of them are kind of filled. We just have to wait on, the protocol. But the big will get filled. Other jobs will open, and there's going to be even more talk.
Yeah, it's kind of like dominoes, there's some big jobs out there, of course, Redlands, East Valley, Notre Dame, Beaumont, and when these guys are on the move, if they're already local Inland Empire guys and they go on the move to take another job in the IE, like dominoes, another one's going to fall, and it's going to open up another job somewhere else. So this is a continuing process as a lot of these premier high school football coaching jobs will be filling their head coaching vacancies very, very soon. And again, we've got the pulse, the inside track on a lot of these jobs, and as soon as we get the information, as soon as we get the green light from our sources and we know it's official, we will pass it along. And we'll talk to Vinny Fazio a little bit later in the show about that as well. Circling back to basketball, Jeff. Again, we are live in Hawaii right now. Jeff's back in California, but I'm in Hawaii with the UC Riverside men's basketball team as they are getting set to take on Hawaii tomorrow night. But back home, last night, another big win for the Cal Baptist men as they beat the Academy of Art 95-82. Jeff, what's the Academy of Art? What's their mascot again? Is it the ceramic workers, the sculptors? What's their mascot?
No, they're the mime. They're always in a box. Those guys are always trapped in a box. And they're the Academy of Art Mimes.
Well, whatever you call them, CBU won last night big time. 95-82 was that final score. Another big win for CBU on their home floor. So we'll talk about that win a little bit later in the show because right now they're still in second place, but they're on the heels of Dixie State also battling with APU for that Pac West Conference Championship. They're very last in the Pac West, so we'll see if they can get that done. Also in high school basketball, we touched on the fact that Rob Robinson from Notre Dame is going to join us in the next segment, and his team is #1 in 3A. A couple other schools of worth noting because the CIF Southern Section rankings came out last night, and again, only one local Inland Empire school in our inland sports coverage area remains in the open division watch list, and no surprise, it's Rancho Christian. And Jeff, barring something crazy, it looks like Rancho Christian will be in the open division once we get to the playoffs because this is the final week of league play. Playoffs start next week.
Yeah, Rancho Christian is one of those teams that, they're in such a small league. They dominated at that league, that level, but they played good teams. They beat Cajon early with that. Cajon didn't have their big stuff, but they beat Centennial, and they beat a couple other teams that are in that Trinity League that are big powerhouses. The only downside is playing in such a small league is that you're going to face the first game in an open division playoff game. You're going to play a very, very good team, and if they haven't played those teams in a while, it could be a problem for them as they go into the open division. Well,
correct me if I'm wrong. Who did they play recently out of league? They were in the middle of league play, and they jumped out of league play for a game. They played somebody else.
Yeah, they played this past weekend. I want to say it was an LA team, I believe. But, they are getting these, these weekend games here and there. But when you're playing a team and you can win by 100 points, it's a totally different ball game when you hit the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. So Rancho Christian, obviously very talented, but not exactly tested in that league down there. But they are still on the open division watch list. fact, it should be the final one because the playoffs will begin next week as we get outside of league play. A couple other teams worth note. In Division I, we got a bunch of Inland Empire schools, and leading the way, Centennial. They come in at number 14, followed right on their heels by Roosevelt at number 15. We've also got JW North 18 and Rancho Verde, number 23. Rancho Verde's got some big games coming up against JW North, most notably coming up on Thursday, which will decide the Inland Valley League Championship, Jeff.
Yeah, and you really can't, we're talking about North High School. North, they've only lost 2 games. They lost to a very good Poly team, and they didn't play very well at Poly, but they seemed to get their stride going here. They handled Rancho Verde pretty well, pretty easily. They have Valley View tonight, which could be a hiccup game because they could, look past them as they play Rancho Verde here on Thursday. But I think North has a shot because they're so athletic and so quick. They could do damage in that division.
Yeah, so we'll see how this unfolds in the final week. Some big games going on. We're going to talk about those big games a little bit later in the show because if you look at the Southwestern League, you look at the Mountain Pass, you look at the Inland Valley, some huge games coming up that will decide league champions before we get to the playoffs. Going back to those CIF Southern Section rankings real quick, Cajon right now tied for 5th in Division II AA. Which to me is kind of crazy because I've seen Cajon with my own eyeballs, and that team is legit. I can't believe there's 5 other teams they think are better than them in 2AA. But we'll find out once we get to the playoffs as Cajon's trying to wrap up an undefeated league schedule in the Citrus Belt League. And our other number 1 team, so Notre Dame, their head coach Rob Robinson's coming up in our next segment. They're number 1 in 3A. Our only other Inland Empire school who's currently number 1 in boys basketball is Hillcrest. They are number 1 in 4AA, and Jeff, Hillcrest is just running away with that River Valley League title. Hopefully they'll be tested enough, like we said with Rancho Christian. Hopefully Hillcrest is in a similar situation where they will be tested enough to make a deep run in the CIF Southern Section playoffs in 4AA.
Yeah, Hillcrest is one of those teams that you look at. This is their one shot. I mean, Coach Wood came into the studio and said, hey, he has the horses. This is his one shot to get that championship. And they're playing at a pretty high level in a very good league. La Sierra has been 5 in a row. La Sierra is struggling right now. They're playing for 4th place. Patriots in there, Jurupa Valley, Ramona. These teams are a lot better. But I think the test is Hillcrest. This is their small window with their big fella in the middle, which I can't pronounce his name, but he's a heck of a ball player.
Obi Oha or something like that. I don't have the name in front of me, but I when we had him in studio, took me a couple times, but I finally got it. But yeah, he's a force. Not a lot of guys. He's a matchup nightmare because not a lot of other teams have guys that can match up with a guy that tall and obviously that athletically skilled. Here at the high school level, you just don't see a lot of those guys walking around campuses, or for that matter, in the River Valley League right now. Once again, Jeff is live back home in the Inland Empire. I'm Pep Fernandez. I'm live in Hawaii with the UC Riverside men's basketball team as they will take on Hawaii tomorrow night, broadcasting live from the Waikiki Aston, just off of Waikiki Beach. And Jeff, again, man, I see sailboats, just people walking around with surfboards. The water is blue. I went down, bought again some little trinkets and stuff. The whole tourist thing this morning. So the only thing that's been a drawback, I guess I would say, is did you know I hate birds?
You hate what?
I hate birds. You know birds? Just like a bird.
You hate birds?
Any kind of bird.
How can you hate birds? Birds are nice. They whistle.
No, like the Tiki Room at Disneyland. Ugh.
Come on.
I know, dude. Something about birds. Like I don't mind spiders. I wouldn't say I like snakes, but I don't mind snakes. But something about birds I just don't like. And we've got this mobile studio set up here on the balcony at the hotel, and twice not even a seagull, I think it was a pigeon, landed on the balcony and walked into my room. Jeff, I think we're losing you right now, but that's okay. We're going to let Jeff go. Maybe he's just absolutely stunned that there's birds flying in my hotel room right now. But, yeah, twice birds have made their way into the balcony and just, hey, felt the need to just kind of stroll into my room. And again, not liking birds, that was the last thing I wanted to see. But I think we're okay right now. Again, we are live and amplified here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Coming at you live from the beaches of Waikiki. And we will have the Inland Sports Show live on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM in Hawaii today and also tomorrow. So 3 to 6 p.m. again, leading up to UCR taking on Hawaii tomorrow night. That'll be 9 o'clock Pacific time, so 7 o'clock local time here in Hawaii, as the Highlanders are still looking for their first Big West big win at 0-8 right now. 10-game skid, but they're 0-8 in the Big West Conference. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, more high school basketball, because there are a few teams better than Notre Dame High School right now. The #1 team in Division 3A. Head coach Rob Robinson will join us. We'll talk about CIF championships and can this team get that last step. Remember last year, 1 win away from the state championship game. Will this be the year for Notre Dame? We'll find out. Rob Robinson, the head coach at Notre Dame, will join us next. You're listening to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, live from Hawaii. Stand by, everybody. The Inland Sports Show coming back live from Hawaii. Shout out to my wife, Tara, my kids, Alana, Ellie, Lucy. It's almost go time. And welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Again, we are live and amplified today from Hawaii, the beaches of Waikiki. And we've got a lot to talk about going on in the Inland Empire. He's one of our favorites, and we're happy to have him back on the show. It's the head coach of the Notre Dame High School boys basketball team, and also the #1 team right now in the latest CIF Southern Section Division 3A rankings, the great Rob Robinson. Coach, how are you today?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing really well.
Well, you guys are #1 right now in 3A. Do you guys follow the rankings very closely? Have you followed them this season, or does it just matter where you end up at the end of the season?
I'm actually on part of the polling committee. So
you got to follow them.
I got to follow, and that's kind of been by design the last couple of years. It forced me to know what's going on. Before I was just living oblivion and just got what I got and played the game, but it's kind of forced me to do my homework a little bit more, and I'm a little bit more in tune with what's going on in our division in the last couple of years.
So we've only got 1 week left of league play, the regular season, and then we go to the playoffs. So how closely are you looking at maybe some of those other teams that are currently ranked as well? Because obviously you want to finish out league play strong, go undefeated in the Ambassador League, but maybe also keep an eye on some of those other schools that you might see down the road in the CIF Southern Section playoffs.
Yeah, I've been following them. You just got to compartmentalize, and I worry about my squad and practice and the game. But the moment it's over, there's time, and I've actually gone out in the last couple of weeks to try to get a feel for what another top 4 team looks like, or another 8 through 12 looks like, because it's a real possibility you'll see those guys in the second round or the quarters if you're fortunate enough to move on in your bracket play. So I've been able to watch, and I've been able to see, and it's formidable. Believe me, that the challenge at 3A is going to be formidable.
You guys are 21-3 overall, 12-0 right now in the Ambassador League. And what's scary is, Coach, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that most of your key players from last season are back, and you've added some new pieces as well. So you guys are probably even better than that team from last year that was 1 game away from that state championship. When you look at this year's team, I know maybe it's kind of hard to put into words. It's kind of a loaded question, but how good is this year's Notre Dame team?
Well, we're considerably better than last year. Not only adding a few pieces, but the 4 or 5 guys that we returned are a year older, and they're more mature, and they're playing better. We could be a good team. I don't think we're as good as I don't think we're even close to as good as we could be. Meshing all the pieces together can be a challenge sometimes, and we're not quite there to where we're really moving as one as a team. I don't think we're selfish by any means, but the product keeps getting better week after week, and I think it could be a special group, but to go far, you not only have to work hard, you almost have to luck up a little bit too. So we're working hard, and we're very excited, and the kids are. They deserve that ranking. They've played well.
We're talking with Rob Robinson. He's the head basketball coach at Notre Dame High School, also the #1 team right now in the CIF Southern Section Division 3A rankings. Coach, we've talked about this before when you've come onto the show, the fact that you guys were so close to that state championship game. Most of the guys from last year's team are back. Do they use that as motivation, thinking, hey, man, we were so close, we can't let it slip away again, because you guys were on your home floor last year in what was technically the state semifinals, the Southern California championship game. You guys were so close. I'm sure it kind of stung in the moment, but maybe you can use that as fuel, as motivation now going forward into the playoffs this year?
Yeah, as a team, you really don't you say it as a team, but it doesn't really resonate. But I think from an individual standpoint, it really has, because in that loss, a few guys didn't play as well as they wanted to, or had they played as well they've been during the season. So it's a self-motivation to just not let your team down again. If you get to that moment, when that big moment comes, you step up and give what you've been given. So, as a team, we talk about it a little bit, but as individuals, we talk about it a lot more, as in being, let's not that happen again. Let's work every day. And in the days you don't feel like lifting or working or coming to get your shots up before school, it's that reminder that, when the time comes, if I put this work in, next time I'm not going to fold, or next time I'm going to do a little bit better. And all we needed was one more point. We just need to be a little bit better. So it is motivation, though, and from a coaching standpoint as well. It's to be that close. That's a special run, and I've been around here long enough to know that doesn't happen all the time, and I don't expect it. So you have to work really hard just to get back there. It's a never-ending cycle. Now I'm working harder than I ever did before to get that 1 point back.
Well, Coach Robinson, let me ask you this. I see a lot of high school basketball. I see a lot of different styles. When I see you guys, you play above the rim quite a bit. You've got some guys that can throw it down. You like to play fast. You score a lot of points. How would you describe your brand of basketball? Because when I've come out to a couple times this year, you guys, again, big-time dunks, Mazga, Holland. I mean, you have some real serious ball players, and you don't see that at a lot of different. You don't see that at a lot of different schools. You see it at Notre Dame.
I've tried to implement a style to where, one, we need to get a lot of shots, because I got some talented kids on the team, and the more possessions and the more shots they get. And but that's the way basketball really should be played, free and flowing. And I try to create a system and a structure where everybody plays fearless. If you watch us play, somebody different brings the ball up the court almost every single time. We're almost, positionless, kind of where basketball has been going. I've been trying to implement that. But like I said, it's been a struggle at times too, when you don't have positions. People don't know what to do, kind of, when it gets tight at the end. But we try to create a structure where we play fast and get as many points as we can. We take our first open look, and everybody get involved. I want everybody to touch it. We have a lot of assists per game for how many points we have too. It's almost the Golden State model, except just more guys handle the ball.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's something I was going to ask you next, is the fact that all your guys can do everything well, and that's kind of been the trend here in basketball. You need guys that can handle the ball, shoot the ball, rebound the ball. Again, you called it positionless, where maybe you don't necessarily have the big man in the middle, and you've got the one guard who's the point guard, and everything goes through him. You've got a bunch of guys that can do a little bit of everything. Does that give you flexibility as a head coach to maybe work with some different lineups, because you have trust, you have faith in some of these guys that they can do multiple things on the floor?
Yeah, it's a great luxury to have. We have 4 guys that score in double figures, and I got 4 or 5 guys that can get you 20 or even 30 on any particular night. And they're you can do a lot of things. I tell you what you can do the best is when things go wrong, they make it look right. You look like you're a really good coach. So that's the pretty cool thing. No matter, you could call the wrong stuff at the wrong time, but if the kid's good, he makes a play, and you look like a genius. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
We got Rob Robinson, the head basketball coach here at Notre Dame High School. Again, the #1 team in 3A right now. Coach, before we let you go, I know you look at the record. You're undefeated, the Ambassador. Everything looks great from the outside looking in. But what are some of those things that you still want to get better at as a team to make sure that you guys follow through and win that CIF Southern Section Championship, and also take that next step and get to the state championship game?
Well, we have so much to improve on daily, but defensively is a grind every day. Kids love offense, hard on offense, and they love to shoot, but get them to do those things defensively is a task every day, and coaching for the moment, because we're going to be in a position where we're going to be in some close games here in the next couple weeks, and being able to execute and and stay focused and not get caught up in the crowd or the moment, which a lot of young kids do. It's real out there for them, and hopefully we can coach them through those moments. And they've grown and matured in the last year to where those outside influences don't affect us. And that's what our concern going into playoff is that the moment doesn't get too big for the kids, and that they just play basketball like they've been doing their whole life, or like we've been doing an hour and a half a day, 4 days a week for the last 2 years.
Well, Coach Robinson, we always appreciate the time, and we'll catch up and do this again in the playoffs because you've got a very special team. And, again, it's fun to see you guys in action because we see a lot of high school basketball. Not a lot of them play above the rim. Not a lot of them play as fast as you guys do and get a lot of possessions and shots up like you said.
And that's what we like. There's some pretty good teams out there. We're trying to be as good as they are, and we want to give our Notre Dame people and their community, we want to give them a show. Not to mention, as a coach, it is boring in a 50 to 60
You want to have fun too, right?
I can't even watch it myself when we're in it. It kills me. So I mean, I want to play ball too, man. So I want the kids. I want it to be exciting. If I got to sit through it, man, I want to enjoy it. So we're trying to get buckets.
The great Rob Robinson, head basketball coach at Notre Dame High School here on the Inland Sports Show. Coach Robinson, we always appreciate it. We'll do it again.
All right, thanks, Pat. See you later, my man.
All right, thanks. That's Coach Robinson, head basketball coach at Notre Dame High School here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 a.m. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we're going to talk about National Signing Day coming up tomorrow. If you turn on your television set, if you get on any of those sports websites right now online, that's what everyone is talking about. The Super Bowl feels like it was a year ago now because maybe some people are still talking about the Super Bowl, but a lot of people now are already focused on college football and National Signing Day coming up, and there's some guys in the Inland Empire still with huge question marks. Where will they end up on National Signing Day? It's become a huge, big business. All you have to do is look at the big major national sports media outlets, and that's all they're going to be talking about tonight and going into tomorrow is who won National Signing Day. Yes, they even crowned champions, like who had the #1 recruiting class. Is it going to be Alabama? Is it going to be the Ohio State? Who's going to win National Signing Day? It's huge, and we've got guys in the Inland Empire that are going to play a role in National Signing Day tomorrow. And again, some guys will verbally commit, then they'll flip on signing day, or some guys have already committed and they're rock solid on National Signing Day. There's no big surprises, but we've got a couple guys here in the Inland Empire, big-time Division I recruits with offers from all over the place, and we still don't know where they will sign. It's coming down to the 12th hour. Where will they sign? We'll talk about it when we come back, and again at 4 o'clock in about 23 minutes, Super Bowl champion Kenjon out of Notre Dame High School won that Super Bowl championship with the Philadelphia Eagles. He will join us live coming up at 4 o'clock. Don't miss it. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show live from Hawaii right here on Fox Sports IE, 1350 a.m. welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show here on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. I'm Pep Fernandez, live and amplified from Hawaii. Yes, we are live in Hawaii as UC Riverside will be taking on the University of Hawaii on Wednesday night in Big West Conference play. We're here in Waikiki and broadcasting live on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. So I'm overlooking the beach right now here in Waikiki, but Jeff is in his own paradise, but in his backyard. Is that right, Jeff?
I am in Shangri-La. My backyard is an oasis that I built so that I can never leave my house because I'm a recluse, and I feel like I'm in Hawaii right now, minus the birds.
Yeah, I don't like the birds here on the balcony. They're pretty bold birds, and I don't appreciate that. They feel like they can just come into my hotel room, which two of them already have. They've actually landed in the balcony and came in, and being deathly afraid of birds, I'm not cool with that. And another one just landed here in the commercial break, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, what are you thinking? Like, you are not welcome here. Like, of all the balconies in this whole place, like, you don't want to land on mine. I'll kick you right off the balcony.
Are they exotic birds, or are they like pigeons?
Yeah, real exotic pigeons.
They're pigeons?
Yeah, they've got these little Hawaiian shirts on and, like, lays around their neck. It's really weird. No, I'm just kidding. Hawaiian birds. Hawaiian birds.
Just flick them. If they land in there, if they're that bold, just go over and flick them in the head. They won't come fly back.
Yeah, they're pretty bold. Like, I'm like clapping my hands and like kicking my foot towards them, and they just like look at me like I'm an idiot. So, but we're battling here. We're live here on the 10th floor of the hotel overlooking the beach. Jeff is in his backyard, and we're going to talk National Signing Day. It's coming up tomorrow, and Jeff, I was saying if you turn on any major network on television or go to any major websites, this is their lead story, is who's going to win National Signing Day. It's become a huge deal. Before, I remember, again, I got into sports broadcasting in 2000, and I remember the first couple of years, you'd hear about one or two signings. You might have an athletic director call you and say, hey, we've got a so-and-so, he's signing a soccer scholarship, or so-and-so's going to this place for baseball. You didn't see a lot of them. As the years have gone on, schools have caught on, and they get a lot of attention from these signings, especially if you have a huge, big-name football player, and that's exactly what we have in the Inland Empire. We have a lot of guys, Jeff, that we don't know where they're going right now.
Hey, and the big one right offhand, it's making national news, is where is Tanner McKee going to go? Is it going to be Stanford? Is it going to be BYU? Is it going to, I mean, it could be anywhere. It could be Alabama. I know they were after him pretty heavily. But yeah, that's the big news is tomorrow is where's Tanner McKee going to go?
And that's a good reminder to let everyone know that Cullen Holt from Inland Sports will be at Centennial High School at 8 a.m. as Tanner McKee will make not only his announcement, but he's going to sign his scholarship, even though he's going on that 2-year Mormon mission. But he will sign his scholarship tomorrow, and Inland Sports will be there covering it. So we'll have video, we'll have an interview, and we'll obviously talk about it on the show tomorrow. But, yeah, I turned on ESPN, and, again, they like to rank who has the best recruiting class and who's getting who, and they go through all the big names across the country, the biggest of the big, and they decide who's the biggest names out there still with question marks that they have no idea where they're going to go. And at the top of the list, there it was, quarterback Tanner McKee.
Yeah, and Tanner McKee is one of those guys. I mean, like you said, we broke the story because there was an erroneous report, like you said, that he was not going to sign.
True.
He ends up saying, he said, hey, I'm going to sign. He was on our show, said, I'm going to sign. I'm just going to take the 2 years to mature, get my body healthy. And I'll tell you what, he's one of those guys that anybody would be lucky to have him because he is a mature guy right now at 18. He's going to be a 20 to 21-year-old freshman going into college. His body's going to mature. His brain will be more of a man. Those decision-making, tasks as a quarterback are going to really come into play because he is going to be more mature.
Well, Tanner McKee is a huge name, and again, we'll break it down tomorrow. And no Greg, who's back in the luxurious Inland Sports studio at Fox Sports IE. The pigeons with the lays around their neck and the little Hawaiian shirts, they do not smell fear. I am not afraid of them. Okay, maybe a little bit, but they do freak me out a little bit. And I just don't want them in my own little personal bubble space. You know, this is my area. Another big name, Jeff, that we're talking about here is Jeremiah Martin at Cajon High School. He will sign tomorrow at 10 a.m. He holds offers from Alabama, Michigan, USC, UCLA. You can just go right down the list. He's got offers from all over the place, and he's another one of those big guys that everyone's talking about, and he's right here from the Inland Empire, Cajon High School, San Bernardino, led the state in sacks, 30.5 sacks. So let's put yourself in Jeremiah Martin's shoes just for a moment, Jeff. You're a guy that could go anywhere. You know, I think the big question for him would be, do you want to play for the national champion Alabama, or would you rather stay close to home in your own backyard and maybe put on some USC or UCLA colors? How do you kind of see it, Jeff?
Well, you know, you look at the Inland Empire. You have the top quarterback in the country. You have the top defensive player in the country. And if I'm Jeremiah Martin, and I know, and in the back of my mind, I know I'm going in the NFL, you can't go wrong with, if you pick a West Coast school, you pick SC, because you know, that's where the defensive guys are playing in the NFL. But if I am him, I'm thinking big time. I want to win a national championship and be the stud on that, you know, that stalwart defensive team. Alabama would be a perfect fit for him because he can play for a national championship every single year, and he's going to play against the very, very best and prepare him for that next level, because he is that next level athlete.
Yeah, again, looking at those rankings on, I'm watching some TV right now as we're doing the show, and they have Alabama in the top 3 in the National Signing Day rankings right now. But because, again, we don't know how tomorrow might unfold. Alabama might pick up a lot of guys, and they'll shoot to number 1. But as of right now, according to all these college football experts, USC and UCLA aren't even in the top 10. So if you're looking ahead and you're like, hey, I'm a guy that wants to win a national championship, I want to get to the NFL, you know, I hate to say it, but Alabama's your ticket at this point. Despite, you know, we love UCLA and USC, and we got a ton of guys from the IE over there. But right now, it's hard to turn down Alabama.
I mean, yeah, you're the best player in the country at your position. You want to go to the best place. You know, you can look at, I know Ohio State was recruiting him pretty hard. That would be another great place, because look at all of the defensive players that are playing right now in the NFL. They'll draft 6-7 guys a year out of Ohio State, out of Alabama. That is where, if you want to be a pro, I suggest he goes there. But he can't really go wrong if he stays out west in the Pac-12. He'll be the best player in the Pac-12, wherever school he goes to defensively.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. You're right. I mean, Alabama is cranking out all the guys on defense that go to the NFL. But if you're a stud at UCLA or USC, it's not like NFL scouts are going to be like, oh, I didn't know about this guy. You're going to be on their radar. You will go to the NFL if you're that good. So it's not like they're going to miss him just because he's at a Pac-12 school, because Pac-12 football obviously is a big deal as well. The one other guy I want to touch on real quick, Jeff, before we wrap up this segment, is Aquinas running back St. Brandon Rankins, and he will be signing tomorrow. And I have it on good authority, and I can't give you my source on this, and I wish I could. But tomorrow he's going to do something I think that most people did not see coming. It's going to be, kind of be a curveball, I think, to some people.
Is he going to play baseball or basketball?
Good call. No, it's St. Brandon Rankins, the all-time king in San Bernardino County. He's had some scholarship offers. I think he was waiting a little bit longer to see if he could hit a home run with maybe a major Division I program. But tomorrow at signing day, Aquinas will have a ceremony at noon. And it looks like Brandon Rankins has made up his mind, and it's something that you and I have not crossed. We've talked about him a lot, but we haven't really considered this. We haven't crossed this one off the list. So tomorrow on the Inland Sports Show, we'll certainly talk about it, and who knows, maybe we'll even get Brandon Rankins for a live interview here on the show. But yeah, he's set to join a college football program tomorrow. And Jeff, I'll text you when we get to the break and let you know what's up, because I just found out. Too. Again, we got sources all over the place. We got sources all over.
Yeah, I do think I might have an idea. You and I will share it off the air. But, hey, there's one other guy that is a possibility. Another great running back out of San Bernardino area, Tyler Algier, might be signing with BYU as of tomorrow. So we'll find that out as well.
Oh, that's right. You had your boy, Wild Bill Cardosi, on the show last week, right, talking about maybe another Inland Empire guy, because remember, BYU just had Jamal Williams out of Summit High School, so they could go back-to-back Fontana guys and plug Tyler Algier in there and let him tote the rock for a while for the Cougars.
Well, just think of it this way. They brought him in on the 23rd hour, basically, this past weekend. He spent 2 days in Provo, Utah, with brought he and his mom out there. That's the last pitch, and I'll tell you what a great fit, like you said. just replacing one Fontana guy with another, and it just they're similar backs. They're both big, strong backs, and he has a chance to play right away, maybe as a spot guy, but later on down the line, he could be a very good player for the Cougars of BYU.
Yeah, he's certainly good enough, and BYU cranks out really good offensive players. Look at Jamal Williams, kind of forced his way into the starting role with the Green Bay Packers this year as a rookie, starting running back at the end of the season for Green Bay, the former Summit Skyhawk star. All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show. Speaking of stars, this guy is big time because he is a Super Bowl champion, none other than Kenjon out of Notre Dame High School, Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles. He will join us next here on the one and only Inland Sports Show, live from Hawaii on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Hey, Kenjon, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Hey, we're coming out of the commercial break like in 10 seconds, so stand by, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
And welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. We're proudly brought to you by our good friends at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Ken Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. Now, this is a real treat because he is a Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles and the pride of Notre Dame High School. Kenjon Barner live on the show right now. And Kenjon, first off, congratulations. I spoke with some of the folks over at Notre Dame High School and also your former coach with the Titans, Pat Thompson. Man, everyone is so proud of you. What was that moment like when that final second ticked off the clock and you were a Super Bowl champion?
Man, it's still hard to put into words exactly, the feelings, the emotion, everything that you go through in that moment, because it is a dream come true. That's a game that you watch on television as a kid with your family, and you grow up and you're like, man, I want to do that. And once you get the opportunity to be in that position, be in that game, have that clock hit zeros and your team be on top, and you realize that you're a Super Bowl champion. It's a Super Bowl is, in my opinion, is a book of 52 chapters now, and my name is in that book forever. So it's an amazing feeling. It's a blessing and extremely humbling.
We're talking with Kenjon Barner out of Notre Dame High School and Super Bowl champion here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Kenjon, you got some pretty good run on social media on Twitter because you were really emotional after that big win, and for good reason, right, Kenjon? I mean, but did you get a good laugh out of it? Because you were emotional after that victory, and you had your family all around you.
Right. I was extremely emotional, man, because it's excuse me. It's just the journey, the path that, I've taken, that I've had to take with sports, and from last year to this year, everything just coming full circle, and being around people that genuinely care about me, genuinely love me, and genuinely want the best for me in this sport. You don't come across that a lot, and I have that in teammates here. I have that in Darren Sproles mainly, man. That guy has went to bat for me from the time I've met him. Stuck his neck out for me, and he's the reason why I'm back in Philadelphia. So that's where all the emotion came from. It was just being overwhelmed and, seeing him and understanding why I was here. It was an amazing feeling. And obviously I was full of emotion, had a lot of tears. I told my parents once we left the team party that Sunday night, and told them, I said, I think I cried every ounce of fluid out of my body. I have no energy left whatsoever.
What was it like to be able to share that moment? I think I'm looking at a picture right now. I think you're holding your son as you're kissing the Lombardi trophy. Does it get any better than that?
Not at all, man. Not only just to have my son there, but to have my mother and my father, my brothers, my sister, just have my family there. The people who have sacrificed so much for me and have given up so much for me to get to where I am. That was the most fulfilling part, for my mom being there who doesn't fly, her to get on a plane to be there and watch me play and be able to witness, her youngest boy win a Super Bowl. That was the most fulfilling part, just having my parents and my family there to really indulge in that moment with me and really being there because of everything that they've done for me.
We're talking with Kenjon Barner here, Super Bowl champion of the Philadelphia Eagles and out of Notre Dame High School here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Kenjon, having your family there and sharing that moment, I know it was very special. You were very emotional. Let's even go back to the start of the season. I don't know if you remember this, but my co-host Jeff Gorham caught up with you at a football camp in Moreno Valley, and at the time you were a running back for the Chargers. You talked about the process and just, having great teammates and family members to always support you and keep it positive. Let me take you back to August. Did you ever think, you were a member of the Chargers at that point, did you ever think that you would be back with the Eagles and be a Super Bowl champion? That's quite a turnaround.
Quite a turnaround, and no, I did not. I thought this chapter in my life was closed. And that's the first thing the guys said to me once I got back out here. They said, "Oh, here you were thinking that you were never coming back here." Um, and it's crazy, man. Me and my family, our belief is extremely high, and we have all faith in God. And once you think you have a plan for your life, He laughs at you, because ultimately He has the perfect plan for you. And I couldn't have planned this any better. I couldn't have dreamed this. I couldn't have dreamed the situation to come out the way it did, man. But I'm absolutely thankful to God for it.
Yeah, the good Lord certainly watching over you, Kenjon. Also, I've got a hunch here that I think you just do well when you're wearing green. Because think about it, Notre Dame, Oregon Ducks, Philadelphia Eagles, right? When you went to the Chargers, you didn't have green. I think it makes all sense, right?
I think it makmakes all the sense in the world. Even going back before Notre Dame, Calvary Chapel, when I was there, our colors were green. So I'm coming to understand that green just might be my color.
We got Kenjon Barner here on the Inland Sports Show. Kenjon, you mentioned Darren Sproles and how instrumental he was in getting you back to Philadelphia for a second time. When you look at him, is he kind of like a role model? Because I look at him as a player that you guys are in the similar mold. You're a kick returner. You're a running back. You can catch the ball from out of the backfield. I mean, do you see you and Darren Sproles as similar type players?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of how I've been used here. While he's been here, they've kind of used us the same exact way and kind of viewed us in the same light. But he's absolutely a role model to me. That guy has taught me so much, not just about football, but about, being a man, how to handle business outside of this sport, to take care of yourself further down the line once you're done playing. But, he has helped me grow as a football player, and he's a huge part of the reason why my game is where it's at, and I'm able to play the way that I can play because of the things that he's taught me, the things that I've learned from him. Whether he knew I was watching him or not, I've learned a lot from that guy.
Talking with Kenjon Barner here on the Inland Sports Show. Kenjon, the championship parade, I believe, is tomorrow in Philadelphia. Is that correct?
No, one more day, Thursday.
Thursday.
I think at 11:30 is when it starts.
Are you looking forward?
Not
Not that you're counting down the days.
Yeah, not that I'm counting down the days, the hours,
minutes.
the seconds, the minutes. None of that. No, man, I'm absolutely looking forward to that. How many people can say, as a player, that they've been a part of a championship parade? That's it's still mind blowing to me as I sit and think about it and talk about it with you.
What's the last couple of days been like for Kenjon Barner? Because I'm sure your phone's been blowing up. I'm sure you haven't been sleeping much. I'm sure you're, going from place to place. What's it like being you the last couple of days?
Oh man, it's been great. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been absolutely amazing. I'm probably running off of maybe 3-4 hours of sleep since Sunday. Just having fun, man, enjoying it, living in this moment, knowing, what all we put in to get here. It's been a lot of fun, man. We've had a lot of fun. Me and my teammates have gotten together since we've gotten back from Minnesota. We've been together pretty much the entire time, having fun, going out, just enjoying it, man. This is something that doesn't happen. There's guys that go their whole career, 10, 15-year careers, and some may not make the playoffs, let alone even reach the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. It's crazy. So we're definitely having fun. I'm enjoying it. And, we're living this moment for a while.
So, Kenjon, some guys, they might win the Super Bowl and think, okay, it doesn't get any better than this. I'm happy. If my NFL career ends now, it's totally okay. Or there's some guys that say, you know what, that felt really good. I want to do this again. Like, where do you fall? Do you want to get back there with Philadelphia?
Absolutely. You look at the roster that we have coming back. This team isn't going to change that much. There may be a couple players here and there, but it's not going to change. And then you think about the guy that got us to that point, and Carson, he'll be back healthy. So absolutely, I think this team will be back there again next year. I know what type of players we have. I know the type of coaching staff that we have. I know guys are going to work their tails off to get back to this point. Now, is it guaranteed? No. There's a lot that has to happen. There's a lot that has to go on. But I know we have a group of guys that can make that happen.
Well, Kenjon, we really appreciate the time. I know there's a lot of folks in the city of Riverside and at Notre Dame High School, Moreno Valley, the entire Inland Empire for that matter, that are super proud of you and they were rooting you on during the Super Bowl. There's a lot of new Eagle fans, I should say, in the 951 right now because they're big fans of yours. So, Kenjon, we appreciate the time here on the Inland Sports Show and enjoy that championship parade on Thursday.
And I appreciate it, and I will. And to everyone that's listening, I love you guys. Thank you for the support. And if you have texted me or sent me a message, I am not ignoring you. I literally have 370-something unread text messages just from Sunday. So I'm not ignoring you guys, and I will get back to you.
You're a very popular guy right now, Kenjon, so I can understand why. You're very popular. The great Kenjon Barner, Super Bowl champion, kick returner for the Philadelphia Eagles and the pride of Notre Dame High School. Kenjon, we appreciate it. Enjoy the championship, the parade on Thursday, and hopefully we can do this again as we go into spring ball. It's right around the corner now.
Right around the corner. Thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me.
All right. That's great. Kenjon Barner. Thank you, Kenjon.
Thank you.
When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, we will continue to talk about the Super Bowl. We'll also talk UCR basketball as they are getting set to take on the University of Hawaii, trying to get that first Big West Conference victory of the season. The first one's always the toughest. Hopefully they can get the job done on Wednesday night. We'll bring Jeff Gorham back onto the show as he is hanging out in his backyard, a little slice of paradise, as Jeff calls it. But again, I'm live in Hawaii, just offset from the beach. I can see the beach from our hotel balcony, and we're doing the show live. We'll do it today and tomorrow. Again, 3 to 6 p.m. live right here, the Inland Sports Show. When we come back, we'll talk UCR basketball, and we'll also talk a little bit more about the Super Bowl. Big thanks to Kenjon Barner, the pride of Notre Dame High School and of the Inland Empire. Again, a lot of new Eagles fans across the 951 after that sensational Super Bowl run by Kenjon Barner and Philly. We'll be back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. And welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Proudly brought to you by our good friends at Spoiled, quick quality oil change, Ken Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. We appreciate their support so we can keep this show going. If you'd like to sponsor with us as well, just send us an email at inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. That's inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you and hook up with some like-minded businesses that love and care about the Inland Empire. They call it home, and they care about it as much as Jeff and I do. Jeff, you're an IE guy to the bone.
I am. I was born, raised, lived here my whole life, and I've been following. I am the official librarian of the IE Sports.
Yes, you are. And we're going to talk some UCR basketball here, but I should tell you that right now I am standing on my balcony. I do not have any shoes on. I'm barefoot. I've got some basketball shorts on. I've got my Inland Sports All-Star Basketball Classic shirt on and my Ken Sporting Goods hat. So I don't think I've ever been so casual to do a show as I'm looking off into the distance. If you're watching us live and amplified right now on the channel, I'm looking off into the distance, contemplating my future and thinking very deep thoughts, looking at all the sailboats and the people and some huge, looks like a big cargo ship hauling a bunch of something. But it's a wonderful scene. We're happy to be broadcasting live from Hawaii. We'll be doing it again tomorrow, 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. So let's talk a little UCR basketball, shall we, Jeff? As they're trying to get a big win against Hawaii. The big question is they're going to get their first win, but when's it going to come? Hopefully tomorrow night's the night.
Well, you know, they're kind of still trying to dig themselves out of this hole. Cal Poly's won 3. They're 3-6 after being, you know, when Riverside played them, they were just 1 game out. Now they're 3 games out of Cal Poly. They're 2 games out of Northridge. They can't continue this losing streak. They've got to do something to dig themselves up just to get to the next step because they've got Northridge on the horizon. Next Wednesday, Valentine's Day, they have to do something quick or it's going to get away really fast.
Yeah, Northridge is one of those teams, just 2 games up right now on UC Riverside. They've only got 2 wins. So if the Highlanders can find a way to pick off Hawaii on Wednesday night, it would really set up a showdown with Northridge on Valentine's Day because that would get them right back into that Big West Conference race because, again, all you've got to do is not finish last. If you don't finish last, you're going to get into the Big West Conference tournament. In fact, I talked to actually, I was eavesdropping, I guess, to be honest here. I was listening in on Coach Bell and Coach Byron Rim as we were on the bus on our way to LAX, and they basically just echoed some of the things that we've been talking about, Jeff, here on the Inland Sports Show, is that you just need to get hot. You need to be peaking at the right time. You just need to get into the conference tournament and then let that take over, let a streak take over and hopefully string together a couple of wins. So I know the guys haven't given up hope because they know, again, if you can just get to the conference tournament, anything can happen. If you just look at the Big West Conference standings, there's a log jam. There's no clear-cut favorite. All of these teams from first place, UC Santa Barbara and UC Davis, all the way down to UC Riverside, there's not a lot of separation in terms of the talent on the floor. Any given night, one of these teams could lose. That's how close it is. So if you can just get to the conference tournament, you're going to have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, just think of it this way. They opened the Big West at Fullerton and had a chance to win it. It came down to the last second for these guys. They lose a tough one at Long Beach. They narrowly lose to UC Davis at home. The UC Santa Barbara, we saw that game at Santa Barbara, where they were down a bunch in the first half, came back, narrowly lost that one, and barely lose to Santa Barbara at home. So they're in every single game. They went unscathed for the entire preseason without injuries, without any kind of issues. And right as they hit the Big West Conference, you lose your leading scorer, Dikembe Martin, and then you go down and you lose Alex Larson at Irvine. They're kind of facing some struggles right now. Hopefully those guys come back and they'll be in shape and able to play with the guys that they've missed and get a couple wins here.
Speaking of Alex Larson, that's a great segue, Jeff, because last night on the plane, it was, a 5.5-hour flight from LAX to Hawaii. And the basketball team, we were all spread across the plane. We were kind of towards the back of the plane, but we weren't necessarily all sitting together. Across the aisle from me, kind of staggered, was Brian Weathers, the director of basketball operations, and then right behind him was Alex Larson. And I can tell you right now, they're taking every waking moment they have to make sure they're getting ready for Hawaii. So there was Coach Weathers with his laptop out, breaking down Hawaii and what they're doing to try to get a game plan specifically for Alex Larson. Alex was sitting behind Coach Weathers, but he was kind of hunkered over Coach Weathers' seat, and he was, pointing some things out, and here's what we need to do, and I think this will work. And I asked Alex Larson if he thought he was going to play Wednesday night, because, again, he's been injured. He made the trip to Cal Poly. We saw him, Jeff. He was out there warming up during shoot-around and getting some good movement, but it just wasn't enough to put a uniform on and roll him out there. So he's hoping. He's still holding out hope, but as of last night, late last night, he said he still wasn't sure. So it'll probably depend on shoot-around tonight, as UC Riverside will have a practice tonight at the University of Hawaii, and then another shoot-around tomorrow. So I think based on those two things, and Tony Onaveris, the Associate Athletic Director and the Director of Sports Medicine here, he's going to take a closer look at Alex and either give him the green light or not. But I know he wants to be out there. He says he loves playing at Hawaii. It's a great arena, and they pack the place, and it gets really loud and rowdy. And he says he really enjoys playing here, and he wants to be out there. It just depends how his body's going to perform the next couple of days. But I can tell you, even though his I think it's his ankle, right? It's an ankle injury. Even though his ankle might not be 100%, he's still doing all the other things, Jeff, off the court to be ready. Again, on the plane with Coach Weathers, breaking down tape, getting ready to take on Hawaii tomorrow night.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they have him and he is, 75% is pretty good, because he's going to go out and get you 8 to 10 boards, and he's going to get double figures in points. But I'll tell you what, the biggest surprise, I think you can agree in this, is that Cal Poly, we saw the emergence of Edie Diallo, that highly touted transfer from Boston College, finally came and played like a grown man in the Big West Conference.
Edie Diallo, yes, he was awesome. And again, I'm sure the coaches went to him and said, Edie, Alex Larson is not able to go tonight against Cal Poly. We need you to have the game of your life. We need you to step up. We need you to fill that void, because they're both big bodies. That their games might be similar between Alex Larson and Edie Diallo, but when you don't have a lot of size up front, when you're missing Alex Larson, he's going to be your guy, because Minnow Dykstra, they'll get him out there, but he doesn't play like a true post player. He's not going to bang around like maybe like an Edie Diallo, who's built like a Mack truck. He's built like a WWE wrestler. I mean, he's big and he's strong. He's got muscles all over the place. They need him out there. They need him to have a big game. That they need him also to stay out of foul trouble. That's kind of what's plagued Diallo so far this season. But when he can stay out of foul trouble, and when he's counted on to be the guy in the interior, the inside guy, the post player, he rose to the occasion. Now, I'd be curious to see if Alex Larson plays tomorrow night, if they could actually play on the floor at the same time together, because that could be really double trouble here for Hawaii if they could both be playing at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, Edie Diallo, we've I always joke about big men that are built like brick houses. I said, hey, you got to play like Tarzan, not Jane. And he definitely played. He definitely played like Tarzan last game. But, the toughest thing is they're playing in a pretty big arena, the Stan Sheriff Arena, which is named after the Cal Poly alumnus who's in their Hall of Fame we saw last week.
That's right. We saw his name on the wall, and you're like, I know that guy. Where's that from?
That's named after the arena. When you walk in, I mean, it's a big arena. You got to get used to those surroundings. I'm sure tonight, they're going to do a lot of jump shooting to get ready. But I'll tell you what, there's a couple guys, though, that need to really step up as well. Because, like you said, no Dikembe Martin still. You've got to get DJ Sylvester. You got to get Alec Hickman maybe to get some shots. Chance Murray. Chance Murray is one of those guys that can explode for 25, but he's got to do so much more. He's a primary ball handler. He has to see the floor. He goes and gets rebounds, but we might need to get some scoring out of Chance Murray.
Yeah, Chance Murray's had 20 assists the last 2 games, so that's the good news. He's averaging 10 in his last 2 games. But if Alex Larson can't go, Alex Larson pours in about a dozen points a game. It's pretty much as consistent as the sun rising in the east, so you can kind of count that. But if he's not able to go, where are those points going to come from? And that's kind of been the story all season long for UC Riverside, especially with DK not on this trip. Where the points going to come from. We've seen DJ Sylvester. He's a scoring machine. He can pile up the points in a hurry. He might be the guy here for UC Riverside to really fill up the bucket. Another guy that we've saw in spurts here is Ko Flippin. Johnny Kennedy, when he gets minutes, he makes the most out of those minutes. So they're going to need the scoring from somewhere. Again, I sound like a broken record here. Like they're so close, and they need another scorer out there. Just a guy who has a nose for the net. Like a guy, I hate to compare him to like a Khalil Ahmad at Cal State Fullerton. A guy that when the ball's in his hands, you're like, oh, he's a threat. He's either going to put it up or he's going to drive to the rack.
Yeah, and I think that guy could be a Johnny Kennedy. We haven't, he plays in spurts. He'll play, play a lot for like 2 or 3 games in a row, and then he'll sit. But, he's a freshman, but the one thing you can say about Johnny Kennedy is that he can stretch the floor. He can guard smaller guys because he is so quick. He's got really long arms, and he's got a real knack for the ball. Ball goes up. He's usually has his hands on every possession, touches the ball. And he is a threat to score because he can shoot from the outside, and he's so athletic getting to the rim. I'd love to see him have a big game on the road. Hawaii is on they've lost 3 in a row. They lost to Fullerton, they lost to Santa Barbara in OT, and they lost to Cal Poly. And I think Riverside is better than Cal Poly, and I think they have a shot to beat Fullerton next time around. Riverside is right there, and I'd like to see a guy like Johnny get his shot.
Yeah, UC Riverside, not even at full strength, obviously down Alex Larson and Dikembe Martin, almost beat Cal Poly. In fact, they should have. That was a heartbreaking loss on the road at Cal Poly last Wednesday night as Donovan Fields hit that basket with 11 seconds to go. Jeff, they felt the victory. They had the victory in their kung fu grip, and it was ripped away from them in the final seconds. They had the game. I was sure they're going to make that 4-hour trip back to Riverside with that first Big West Conference win. Cal Poly able to steal it away in the final seconds. But in the end, you're right. I feel like UC Riverside is better than Cal Poly, and they were shorthanded in that game.
Yeah, and you got to look at the rest of the schedule. It's kind of funky because they're going to play Hawaii 2 out of the next 4 games. They have to come play UC Irvine on February 10th. This is coming up Saturday. They're playing a very good Irvine team at home. And then they go to Northridge, back to Hawaii, and then they finish up with Fullerton, Davis, Cal Poly, and then they play Long Beach State. So they've got a tough schedule ahead of them. But the good thing is they have a couple good games here at home with Cal Poly, Fullerton, and Hawaii at home. A possibility to get 3 wins there.
Yeah, those are all winnable games. Again, of all the games that we saw this season for UC Riverside in conference play, the game at UC Irvine was the only one that was out of reach. It was out of reach by about the first 5 minutes of the game. You're like, okay, this is not going well. They got down big at halftime. Alex Larson got hurt. It was a snowball. It was like the perfect storm. You're like, okay, they are not in this one. What did they end up losing? I think it was 39. They lost by 39 points. It wasn't even close. But every other game, I know they're 0-8, but you could be like, yeah, UCR's 7-1. And then be like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it was a generous 39. It could have been a whole lot worse, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you what, there's a chance here. UC Davis is without their leading scorer right now. So they have a chance. Riverside has a chance to knock somebody off. Shima Maneki's not playing. There's a couple guys in the conference, though, that are playing amazing. The guy, Gabe Levin at Long Beach State, he had 45 the other night. There's some big-time scores. Kyle Allman had 40. So, the conference is getting better. You just have to stop certain guys. And if you stop those guys, or UC Davis without Maneki, they have a shot to win those games.
And I think that's the difference between those teams and UC Riverside is you need that guy who on any given night you're like, man, he could go for 40 tonight. DK, he had 30 points in a game earlier this season. DJ Sylvester, if there's one guy on the team that can score in bunches, DJ Sylvester might be that guy, but they need to get him going.
Yeah, and it's really been UC Riverside by committee.
Yeah.
We haven't seen one guy step up and say, hey, I'm the man all year.
Yep.
You just haven't seen that. So, to salvage these games and maybe possibly sneak in that 8 spot, they're going to have to do what they can to play by committee, and somebody has to step up maybe here in the last 6 games of the year.
All right, so here's the tail of the tape going into the big game tomorrow night at Hawaii. Hawaii's on a 3-game skid, like Jeff mentioned, losing to Fullerton, UC Santa Barbara in OT, and also Cal Poly. And for UCR, man, they're on a 10-game skid, dating all the way back to those final 2 non-conference games at Seattle and Utah Valley. They've lost 8 in conference play. And trying to, in the process, Jeff, give Justin Bell his first win as the head coach for UC Riverside. I can only put myself in his shoes. I can't put words in his mouth. But I would assume to just get that first one, it would feel really good and maybe alleviate some of that pressure that he's feeling because, again, losing head coach Dennis Cutts and being on this losing streak, that's a lot of pressure to feel. If he could just get that first one and be like, okay, I feel like we're at least moving in the right direction and not falling further into a deeper hole.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tough run. I mean, you think about it. You come off a long road trip where you lose to 2 WAC conference teams, and, you come home, your coach gets fired. You have a new coach if you're a player, and you got to play for this new guy who really can't put in anything new. He's got to stick with the game plan that Coach Cutts gave him. But I will say this: there isn't any division. There aren't any groups that are like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do this because my coach got fired." They're all pretty unified, I think. They just don't know how to win yet, and that's the biggest thing as far as coaching. I've had teams I had a team that went 0-20 one year, and I played all freshmen, but I didn't have anybody quit on me, and they played hard the entire year, and I can see similarities with Riverside because they're right there on the cusp of winning, but they haven't quit. You still see them buying into every practice. The shoot-arounds are focused. The game plans, there's different starters every game. And I think Coach Bell's really put together, based on each game, he's given them an opportunity to win. They haven't won, but he's given them the best opportunity.
Speaking of best opportunities and being prepared and doing your homework and having a game plan going in, I mentioned that Coach Weathers was on the plane breaking down some Hawai'i tape with big man Alex Larson. And I'm sure Coach Bell, I could kind of see where he was at on the plane, but I didn't really have a good view. I'm sure I know he had his laptop out because I did see his laptop, but I'm sure he was breaking down film as well, getting ready for Hawaii tomorrow night. But if I could share with just one story from the plane, Jeff, and I did not tell you this one, and I'm going to keep it clean here because this is a family show, and a shout-out to my wife, Tara, and my daughters, Alana and Ellie and Lucy. I love you all. I miss you. I got you gifts today. I was the total tourist down here in Waikiki. I got you some stuff. But we were on the plane, and I'm looking over there, and Coach Weathers real serious, and he's breaking down film with Alex Larson, and I'm leaning over, and I had my earbuds in. I was listening to these shows on the plane, like these tourist kind of shows talking about Hawaii and stuff like that. So I was listening to that kind of stuff, watching the videos. So I pull out my earbuds, Jeff, and I'm leaning over, and I'm looking at Coach Weathers, and he's like, "Oh, Hawaii does this, and this guy's in the high post, but you wanna be down here. You can't be that high up, and you can't be this low. You need to come out here." He was really breaking it down. I was really into it. I probably spent about 5 or 10 minutes watching Coach Weathers and Alex Larson go to work. Okay, you following me so far?
Yep.
So remember when I told you in the beginning that on the plane the seats were kind of staggered? So I wasn't directly across from Coach Weathers. He was just a little bit behind me, and there was this was like across the aisle. So I'm like in the middle section of the plane, and Weathers is on the aisle seat, but on the left side of the plane. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking back at Weathers and Alex Larson, and they're breaking down tape, and then staggered right in front of him, like directly in front of him, was this older lady, total grandma status. She was a grandma, and she was reading her Kindle. And she was reading her Kindle, and I'm again looking at Coach Weathers and Coach Larson, and they're doing their basketball thing, and I'm like, okay, well I'm gonna leave them alone. They're totally they're nerding out on these X's and O's. I'm gonna go back to my little video. So I just happened to look over at the old lady who was sitting right in front of Coach Weathers, and let's just say her reading material was not suitable for kids. It was.
Oh, she.
Go ahead. It was very adult-like.
Was it like 50 Shades of Grey or something?
I've never seen or read 50 Shades of Grey, But I'm going to say that it was not a – if I had my kids on the plane, I'd be like, don't you dare look in that direction.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Was it like a penthouse forum? Were there pictures?
No, it was a – you know what a Kindle is? Like a Kindle?
But
where you just read?
You see was the font like 4 inches? Or
exactly. Because, again, she was like an old grandma, so the font was – a Kindle, it's kind of like backlit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Where the letters kind of pop out, and the letters were real big. So, here, again, looking at Coach Weathers, watching Alex Larson, I happen to look in front of Coach Weathers, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, what is she reading? Like, it was not appropriate, let's just say, for an old lady. It was not appropriate. And she had no care in the world. She was munching on her snacks, and she was holding her Kindle, like, up, like, in front of her face. Like, she had no problem that the whole world knew what she was reading over there.
So, did you read for 5 hours? You said you looked for 5 minutes at the basketball stuff. Did you read the whole thing?
Don't be ridiculous. 5 hours is more like 5:15 probably. Read the whole story. No, no. I learned all about. I learned about Malaysia. I learned about Sydney. I learned about the ukulele. I learned about all kinds of stuff on the plane flight over because I was watching again all the videos about Hawaii and where this airline flies to and all the different cities. I watched all that stuff because you have to actually pay for the real movies and the real television shows. I wasn't going to pay. You know how cheap I am. I'm not going to pay. So I was watching the ukulele and the family who lives out in the jungle and they're self-sustaining and they got their own farm and stuff. And and I learned all about poi. Remember you asked me about poi? I learned all about poi and how they make it and where it comes from.
Well, it's like they pull it from the ground. It's like a root in water.
Yeah, it's like like you said, like a root, like a potato, and they mash it up and they add water and they eat it with their fingers and they put it in everything and it's a staple. It's like their official food over here in Hawaii. But I got to be honest, it looks kind of sketchy. I'll try it. I'll try it for the first time, but I don't know. Okay,
do you remember when you were a kid and you were like in kindergarten and they had the paste? Do you remember paste?
Yes, absolutely.
It tastes like paste, exactly like paste.
Yeah,
looks like paste. Tastes like paste. It's probably paste.
The guy even said he's a chef here in Hawaii. He said if you're from Hawaii, you love it. It's part of every meal, Thanksgiving, the whole shebang. But if you're not from Hawaii, you're going to taste it and say it tastes like cardboard, and you're not going to like it. Is what he said. And he was a well-known chef from the island.
Okay, there's a couple things you need to eat if you can. I know you're in your very short time there.
I'll probably end up at Subway tonight. But go ahead.
No, you got to eat Spam.
Oh, Spam. Yeah, I had Spam as a kid. I like Spam well enough.
Do you know what Spam's made out of?
All the junk, like a hot dog, right?
Nope. People.
People?
It's people. It's like this with Soylent Green. It's people. So when you're eating Spam, it's people. It's really tasty. It's a little salty, but you're eating people.
Well, I don't know. I might skip the poi and the Spam after that.
Okay, then you got to go and you got to get a plate lunch. They give it to you a plate lunch. It's like they give you sticky rice. They give you like a teriyaki or a beef or something. But yeah, and it's on like a picnic, a paper plate. You call it a plate lunch. You go get that, and you get some Spam in there, maybe a little poi. You get a paste. You get people. You get some nice sticky rice.
Oh, you make Hawaii sound wonderful, Jeff.
Oh, hey, and then if you get a chance, you go to the North Shore. The North Shore is where they have those giant waves and the big surfing competitions,
Yes, yes.
Okay, but it's always windy over there, like super windy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so if you're standing on the sand, you better get in the water. But if you get in the water, you'll probably die because I don't think you're that good a swimmer.
I am a good swimmer.
If you stand on the sand, you're going to get sand in your eyeballs.
I don't want that, but I may get in the water.
You got to get in the water. You got to go try to swim with like a sea turtle.
Well, I got in for a little bit. I just stuck my feet in, like up to my ankles, just to say I did it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll jump in. I've only got one pair of shorts, and they're basketball shorts. I did not pack board shorts because it happened so fast. Remember, again, like I wasn't even sure, like if I was making the trip, and all of a sudden, like, hey, we're going to Hawaii. I'm like, okay, well, let me just grab a couple things, and here we go.
All right, I'm gonna tell you what to do tonight. Okay, wait till it gets really dark.
Wait, hold on. Can you save this for the next segment?
Yes, of course. I'm sitting in my house. Of course I
can. You've got nothing to do. It's a Tuesday afternoon, and you're in your own little paradise in the backyard. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
All right, when we come back, Jeff's going to give me tips on what to do so I can be a complete tourist here in Hawaii. Plus, we'll talk more about that big Cal Baptist basketball win last night against the Academy of Art. And around the corner, Vinny Fazio, local football coach, is back in the coaching ranks. Where is he? We're going to hear from the great Vinny Fazio when we come back. We are live from Hawaii. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show, Aloha, on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. And welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. We are broadcasting live and amplified from Hawaii, Honolulu, Waikiki. And Jeff is back in his own little slice of paradise in his backyard back in the Inland Empire, holding it down for the 951. Jeff, it's wonderful. There's a slight breeze. The sun is out. It's probably maybe pushing 80 degrees. It's wonderful.
Hey, it sounds about the same here, my friend.
It probably is, right? I mean, it's probably a little more humid here, but about the same.
Yeah, you got a nice breeze. I'm kind of looking at my my pool. My goofy cat looking at me through the window. Oh, yeah, it's a perfect day.
Well, coming up tonight on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, 7:30, mark it down, San Diego State will take on Fresno State. And those Aztecs better keep an eye on our boy Deshaun Taylor, the shooting guard for the Fresno State Bulldogs and the pride of third in Chicago, JW North High Schools. Deshaun Taylor, Jeff, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm assuming he's probably either the leading scorer or one of the leading scorers in the entire Mountain West Conference. That's how good Deshaun Taylor has been for Fresno State this season. And you can listen to it live. If you're a North basketball fan or a Deshaun Taylor fan, you can listen to the Fresno State Bulldogs take on Matt Mitchell and San Diego State. So an all-IE battle coming up, Jeff, at 7:30 right here on Fox Sports IE.
No, just think of it this way. Deshaun Taylor put up 32 on the number 22 ranked team in the nation in Nevada. They came up short, but man, when you're putting up 32 on a ranked team and a musclehead team who's a defensive stalwart coach, that's a pretty good game.
Yeah, he almost single-handedly brought them back and knocked off, like you said, the league leaders, Nevada, the Wolfpack, in the Mountain West Conference. So San Diego State, Fresno State tonight, 7:30 right here on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Before we touch on the Cal Baptist basketball team once more here, Jeff, you wanted to give me some tips while I'm here in Hawaii?
Yes.
I got one more night. I got tonight and I got tomorrow night here in Hawaii.
Okay, tonight.
Yes, tonight's.
This is what you do.
Here's
you
what I
wait
do.
Till everybody goes to bed. Everybody. Make sure everybody's asleep. And then you're going to go out. You're going to take your towel, grab a towel from the hotel.
Okay.
And you have to walk across the street or anything, or just walk right out to the ocean. Are you on the beach?
It's just across the street. Again, like I got a great arm. I could probably throw a rock and hit the water.
All right, this is what you do. You take your flip-flops, you get your shirt, you go stand on the ocean, and you say, "I am King Kamehameha." And then you walk out, you take disrobe. You must walk into the waters nude in Hawaii.
You want me to skinny dip in Hawaii?
Yeah, I did it once. I did it with my team at Cal Baptist. I wonder if I'm allowed to say that.
You did?
I did. I had a buddy of mine. I'm going to tell you, remember Keith Greeley? I'm just going to throw him out there. Keith Greeley.
Whose sons play football for Hawaii?
Yeah, that's right. His daughter was an
his
All-American
daughter's here too, playing volleyball, Calais.
Yeah, so we go out. He's a Hawaiian guy. He's from Hawaii. As they say, what do they say? Hawaii?
Hawaii.
They say it funny. Yeah. So we're at Cal Baptist, and he goes, "Hey, we're staying over on the North Shore. It was windy." He goes, "Come on, Jeff." I go, "What?" He goes, "No, come on." So we go out to the ocean, and it's dark. It was like midnight. We broke curfew at Cal Baptist. We broke curfew, and we swam naked.
You did?
The Pacific. Yeah, swam naked in the Pacific Ocean while we were at Cal Baptist. It was a fine evening. I was just worried. I don't like being naked with animals in there. I was worried things were going to bite me.
Yeah,
so
I don't want to be on the front page of the Press Enterprise tomorrow.
Everybody does it. It's
every
tradition.
Everybody,
so tonight,
everybody
you're
does
King.
it?
Yes, you have to go out there and say, "I am King Kamehameha." And then you walk out there naked. Do it.
I might just have myself a big bowl of poi and then go for it.
Okay, yeah, do it, man. I'm
going to do it.
Nudity. Just do it for the Inland Sports Show.
I might have to. I might just have to do that.
Peer pressure. Like, if you're not going to do it, somebody's going to do it. So you might as well.
Might as well be that guy? Just be that guy?
Dude, just say you swam naked in Hawaii, and you can always own it. Own it.
I will be the talk of the town as long as I don't get caught. Because, again, I don't want the lead story to be like local sports broadcaster.
No. It's not against the rules. It's not against the law.
It's not?
Nope. You can be naked anywhere you like.
I didn't know you were a Hawaii rules law enforcer and expert.
Well, I told you that Spam is made out of people.
Yep.
Poi is made out of paste.
That's right.
Plate lunches are fantastic.
Uh-huh.
And you can be King Kamehameha and swim naked.
I didn't know that. You're such a Hawaiian expert. I should have brought you along.
Yeah. You can wear your puka shells. Did you bring your puka shells?
No, I didn't, but I do have the Hawaiian shirt, and I still need to get to the bottom of it because if Coach Justin Bell and the rest of the UC Riverside coaching staff does not wear Hawaiian shirts, Jeff, I'm not wearing mine. I brought my UCR polos. I brought 2 of them, in fact. So as long as if they wear Hawaiian shirts, then I will too. But I'm not going to fall into that trap.
Come on, man. You're supposed to wear a Hawaiian shirt. Maybe some board shorts. That would be kind of, you don't have board shorts. Maybe just your little basketball shorts. Flip-flops.
Flip-flops, basketball shorts, and a Hawaiian shirt. Hey, but you know what? I was looking at some old film of Hawaii games, and the visiting teams did not have Hawaiian shirts on, Jeff.
Oh, stop it.
No, I'm dead serious.
I'm telling you, man, if you don't do it, you're not part of the crew.
Well, let's spend a couple minutes here about Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist will never be the same after we just found out that former Lancer great Jeff Gorham was swimming naked here in Hawaii.
Yeah, baby.
CBU, big win against the Academy of Art last night, 95-82. Of course, you're supposed to beat the Academy of Art, right? It's a bunch of artists.
Yeah. How the heck do you lose to some mimes or some ballet dancers?
You can't do it.
No way. They can't. You can post up a ballet dancer or an artist any single time and score at will.
Well, Callie Dioff, the big man in the middle, career high 35 points to pace Cal Baptist. So what does it mean? It means they're now 18-4 overall, 11-3. In fact, Jeff, I hear sirens. I think they just called the police on you.
What is going on?
They just called the police on you. They were all listening to the Inland Sports Show here in Honolulu, and they're like, you know what? Now we've got our guy. This has been a cold case, and they just reopened it, and they're coming after you.
Hey, Honolulu's a dangerous place at night.
Is it?
Very dangerous.
Can't be walking around naked.
No, that's okay. That's not frowned upon. But yeah, there's some shenanigans that goes on after dark in Honolulu. I've seen it on HBO.
Oh, well, I better watch it. I better just
careful.
Make my way down to the Subway or the Burger King and come right back.
Yeah, you be very careful. You're a little guy. I worry about you.
So big win for CBU. They're second place right now in the Pac-West Conference. Also, speaking of CBU, the baseball team, we're big fans of Gary Adcock and the Lancers. They're going to open up their season with a 3-game series against Dominguez Hills. The first one, the season opener, will be on the road. That's at Dominguez Hills on Thursday. And then the Lancers are back home for the middle game, the game sandwiched in between a couple road games. They're back home on Friday against Dominguez Hills, 6 o'clock, first pitch out there at CBU. So Cal Baptist, again, like preseason ranked number 6 in the country, preseason pick to win the Pac West. They got a bunch of guys being preseason all-conference and all-American. I mean, the expectations are really high, and knowing Gary Adcock as we do, being the last year in Division II, Jeff, they're going to want to go out with a huge bang. We joke around that it's the staple question, of course, for all these CBU teams being their last year in Division II, their last year in the Pac West, that this is their last shot at it. They're going to be competitive in Division I, but they're not going to rule the roost as they're doing right now in Division II, where they pretty much just beat everyone at will in any sport.
Well, it's kind of, the only sad thing about this is they really got the ball rolling in Division II in all sports. I mean, cross country, I think they hit number 1 in the country. Volleyball, they were number 1 in the country. I mean, they've had teams that are number 1 in the nation, and now they've got next year and the following years they're going to be playing some big dogs. They're going to be playing the UCLA, the FCs.
They'll still be competitive, but is it going to be like what we're enjoying right now? Probably not for a while, but that's okay. It's not expected because they are dominant, absolutely dominant. Every single team at Cal Baptist is either winning conference or they're in the hunt for conference. They've got players of the year. They've got All-Americans. They got all that stuff. So get it while the getting's good, while you're still in Division II. Once they get to Division I, they'll still be competitive. I think they're going to be good right away against all those other Division I schools, but will they be the number 1 team in all the different sports? That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough, and I think that's kind of unfair to put those expectations on them as well.
But you look at their guys. I mean, let's look at every single sport. We've interviewed the golf coach. Wonderful guy. I brought in players from the Philippines, I believe, and but peppered in with each of these teams are local Inland Empire people. Baseball team is primarily Inland Empire guys.
Yeah, baseball's heavy local.
I mean, every single sport, there's guys that are playing from the IE. Basketball, they have IE guys. Volleyball, there's IE people. They are swimming. They're dominant because of the Inland Empire athletes that are choosing to stay home rather than leaving and say, hey, I'm going to leave and go play somewhere. They want to stay at home. They want to represent the Riverside and the Inland Empire.
Well, they certainly got a good thing going. CBU baseball again, season opener Thursday at Dominguez Hills, then Friday home opener against Dominguez Hills at 6 o'clock. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we will talk high school football, and Vinny Fazio will join us live. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show live from Hawaii on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. And welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. We're proudly brought to you by our good friends over there at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Kin Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. How about some breaking news here on this Tuesday across the IE? As our dear friend Vinny Fazio is headed back to the sidelines as the new offensive coordinator at Los Osos. Coach, welcome back to the show. And first off, let me ask you, I thought you were more of a defensive guy. You know offense too?
Yeah, I've had a couple people say that to me. The last 5 years I've been an offensive coach. I've had my dad to do the defense, and so really the last 5 years at Eisenhower and Merida Valley and Ramona, I was mostly offense. So I do a little bit of both. I got a book coming out too, Pep. I don't want to hate to plug my book.
Do it.
But that'll be a defensive book. But yeah, it was just the right move. It was the right opportunity. He and I have very much the same kind of focus on offense and the same kind of vision. And we have a great defensive coordinator in Tom Martinez, who used to be the head coach at Los Osos. So, I think that side's going to be kind of locked down, and we're going to get the offense going.
So I know going to Los Osos, you get to reunite with your good friend Alex Pierce, which you guys were together at Carter High School, and I believe you were the DC for the Lions at that point, right?
Yes, yeah. We're together at Carter. This is what I was thinking. I got the best bosses in the world. I got Mike Capps at Oak Hills. I got Pep Fernandez at the Inland Sports. And now I got Alex Pierce at Los Osos. So if nothing else, I have good taste in bosses.
Well, Alex Pierce is one of our favorites, too. Such a good guy. I know you were still contemplating whether you still wanted to coach. I know you've got young Luca at home. You've got a young family. So I know you were still considering, do I need to coach right now? Do I want to get back into coaching? But it seems like if you were going to get back in, you might as well do it with one of your good buddies, like a guy like Alex Pierce, right?
Well, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. I kind of still am not really into that head coaching mode at this point. I may get back there sometime, but I really wanted to have some really cool opportunities as an assistant. But, Los Osos is right by my house. It allows me to keep my teaching job, at Oak Hills, which, in my ASB deal, which I really love. And so it really was kind of an offer I couldn't refuse. So, we still gotta dot some I's and cross some T's on the paperwork, get all that done. But hopefully, if I haven't contracted TB here in the last year, we should get that done pretty quick and get to work fast.
Well, I know John Gruden, when he was named the head coach of the Raiders once again, they asked him about his contract. He's like, I don't know what it's all about. But for you, it's about coaching, right? Like, you love doing it. And this is a good situation where, again, you have Alex Pierce and you're going to be close to home, so you're not going to miss a lot of time with your family commuting long distances and whatnot. Let me ask you about Baseline League football now that you're officially in the Baseline League here with Los Osos. We've had a coaching change at Rancho Cucamonga. Upland, there's some things going on there too. I mean, Los Osos might be in a prime spot to make some moves coming up this upcoming season. Where do you see Los Osos kind of fitting in, considering all the changes on the landscape right now of the Baseline League?
I think everybody's really good. Upland obviously was phenomenally good last year. Rancho Cucamonga has been phenomenally good for 2 or 3 years. So those are real struggles. Rancho's going to have some coaching change, but still got a lot of guys. Upland obviously is loaded with guys, and everybody in the league is good, and that's kind of the appeal. One of the big appeals to me is coaching good football, high level football every single week, and Coach Pierce did a great job last year of kind of getting things going. I mean, it had been down for a few years and took over and won 5 games and got into the playoffs. And so we're just kind of hoping to build. I had a chance to go see him play a couple times last year, so I know a little bit about the talent. So we're going to have to get to work. It's going to be hard every week. We play a challenging non-league, and obviously the Baseline League is War Daddy football every week. So we're going to have to gear up and go and get the best we can and do the things that we want to do, be physical and value the ball, have great ball security and run the clock and run time of possession and throw effectively. We're going to have to do a lot of things well to have a chance to score in that league.
So going from Eisenhower to Ramona and Murrieta Valley in there, in between those two stops, I mean, has your perception of offense and what constitutes a great offense, has it changed, or is football still football? Because I know right now we're in the pass happy, spread them out. You even watch the Super Bowl, everyone was all excited about the run pass option, right? I mean, so where do you kind of see the offense right now, and has it evolved, in your coaching stops?
I think always the things that are important to me, and I think the things that win football games are being really physical, no matter what style. You can be physical in the spread. You can be physical in the wing tee. You got to be really physical, and you got to value the football. You can't turn the ball over. You saw the other night, those teams don't turn the ball over. I mean, they throw it, but they don't turn it over. So, you can't turn the ball over, and you got to, control tempo. Tempo's become such a big thing, but tempo is really a fake stat. If all you're doing is just trying to run 200 plays, then those are really, you could say, well, we broke the school record in points, but that's because you ran a lot more plays. I mean, the point is we want to win games. We want to try to win games. So we want to run tempo when we want to run tempo and make it beneficial to our team rather than just trying to set the school scoring record. It's a lot more about points per drive now, in my mind, than it is about, how many points you scored or yards you got, because a lot of that is inflated because of the tempo numbers. But we're going to use tempo when we can and when we want to, and try to do the things that you do, make big plays down the field in the pass game and control the ball in the run, do what we do. It's kind of what we've done everywhere. So the nice thing for me is Coach Pierce and I have very similar beliefs offensively. So it's not like I'm not coming in and he's trying to force me to do things, and I'm not, for him, I'm not coming in and trying to change everything, and hopefully there won't be a lot of transition for the kids because it's really the same offense, with maybe a couple little wrinkles. So that's the best part for me. It really isn't going to be a long learning curve for any of us. Hopefully once we get going, we can just hit the ground and run.
So congratulations to the great Vinny Fazio, the offensive coordinator now at Los Osos. Breaking news here on the Inland Sports Show. And, Coach, while I got you on the line, let's talk about some of these coaching openings across the Inland
there's
Empire.
some big ones coming, Pep. Yeah, there's some big ones coming, man.
Before we even dive into the specific jobs, head football coaching openings in the Inland Empire, and I'm sure this serves the same way everywhere, but they're like the worst-kept secrets in the IE. Like, everyone knows about it, everyone's talking about it, but nobody wants to say it in, like, a public forum, right?
The whole process is silly, and that's one of the big advantages that the private schools have over the public schools is they just go hire a coach. I mean, Servite lost their coach, and 6 days later they hired Troy Thomas because they don't have to go through all of this, filling out 1 billion forms and doing 2 months of interviews when these guys all know who they want to hire anyway.
Yeah.
And then you got to wait for the school board approval and do that. But, these things that should take 5 or 6 days end up taking 3 months or whatever in the process. So, yeah, that's a goofy thing, but I don't know, California, as you know, is a bureaucracy state. Yeah. So I don't know that that's going to get much better. That is one of the big advantages that the private schools have is they're able to just go get their guy, and 5 days later they have a coach.
Yeah, lots of red tape because a lot of these guys, there's openings right now where we know guys are in place to take the job, and they are the guy. They're going to probably get the job. But the problem is, like you said, well, it's all approved, but they're haggling over tenure, or the board still has to do the approval. Like there's so much red tape.
And the board only meets once a month,
and
that meeting isn't for and that's the deal that you really is a disadvantage because I mean some of these programs could have started with their new coach 3 weeks ago when everybody knew who it was going to be. And instead now we got to wait. And then the program that's got to hire, they have to go through the same thing. So now they don't have a coach for 2 months. It's hard. I mean, that whole process you really wish could get cleared up and cleaned up. But, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, it's, again, the worst-kept secret. Those coaching fraternities are very small circles, and everyone is talking about it, but it can't be necessarily public, again, until all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Some of those jobs...
Well, and all these guys got to hire staff, so they're calling other coaches, looking for guys to come coach, and so it's like... Well, everybody knows what's going on. The whole world knows what's going on because they're calling, trying to hire other coaches to come with them at the new school. So everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, so not even trying to spread the news. You got to spread the news because, again, you're right. You got to find guys to join you at your new school. Like, everyone's going to know.
Yeah, you're trying to build a staff.
Well, there's some jobs out there where these schools might have guys in place, but again, it's not official. We're talking about schools like Beaumont, Redlands East Valley, Notre Dame, Redlands. I mean, those are some pretty prominent jobs, Vinny, that are out there that are open that I know a lot of guys are interested in. I know for a fact they're going to get some big names at these schools.
Yeah, I've heard at least 2 of those are kind of signed, sealed, and delivered, and we're just waiting for announcements and board approval stuff. And one of those, by the way, Pep, is the one I called back in December.
You called your shot.
I want some credit. On the phone from the Mandalay Bay, I told you there was going to be a huge one. That's the one. And it did happen exactly the way I thought it would. So I will take a little credit for that. But, yeah, I think there's going to be a couple big ones. You know, there were certainly some interesting jobs in the area and looks like interesting names. And I think the names that are going to move are going to open up new jobs in the area. So you're going to kind of have this whole process all over again.
Yeah, it's kind of like dominoes. One drops and it affects the next and the next and the next. So we know several of these jobs, they have the guys in place. And like you alluded to, Vinny, that the fact that they've got to get board approval, they got to sign off on this, they got to sign off on that. I will say there's a date next week, and I'm not going to tip anybody off because we want to obviously break the news here on the Inland Sports Show, but there's a date next week where I know where several of these boards are meeting. So as soon as we get the official green light, we'll make it public. Although if you're a coach and you're out there listening to the Inland Sports Show, you already know. So it's not going to be breaking news to you.
Yeah, there's no secrets out there on these ones. These ones are all out there. I got 100 text messages this morning about one of the new ones. So they're all out there. You know, but it is what it is, man. I mean, that's the way the process has to go now because of the bureaucracy. And, you know, it's easy to complain, but I love my job in education, so I'm trying not to complain much anymore.
Well, you are in a good spot now at Los Osos as the offensive coordinator with Alex Pierce. Vinny, we're fired up for you. Are you still going to help us out, though, with our football coverage?
Pep, if I'm invited, man, I would love to be there anytime. I'm looking forward to the Valley games if we're going to do them again. Looking forward to see the Death Valley defense if we're, you know, as soon as you give me the green light or hey, man, maybe we switch. Maybe we do the Bulldogs. Maybe we do U of R this year. You never know.
We need to do some U of R, man. And they got a 10-game schedule. That's an extra game in there we could do.
They got a 10-game schedule. They got a lot of exciting dudes back, a lot of locals. You know, Joey Mariani and Big Foz doing the defense. They're going to be rolling, baby.
Yeah, what happened to there was some sort of an Italian cook-off contest that was going to take place between was it Mariani and somebody else?
I think it was Matheny.
That's
I think
right.
Matheny was. I'm going to tell you this. Matheny's going to get that work. He don't want any part of Mariani. He's gonna catch them hands. He don't want any part of Mariani is a legend.
He's gonna get hands. Mariani's in his kitchen like every weekend. I see his posts on Twitter.
No, he'll get that work. He don't want any part of Mariani.
Yeah, for sure, man. We will join forces. We will team up again for Valley College football. We're going to get some U of R action in there, too, because we love the Bulldogs and the Wolverines. Super proud of those Inland Empire schools. Hey, but Vinny, seriously, congratulations on the Los Osos gig. And
thanks, man. I'm really excited. I'm really happy, and hopefully get all this clearance stuff done and get to work as fast as we can.
All right, the great Vinny Fazio, breaking news here on the Inland Sports Show. And when some of those other head coaching spots get finalized, Vinny, we'll bring you back on and we'll talk about all those because you know, I know a lot of other people out there know, and we'll share those names and we'll break those down when they come official.
Yeah, and there's going to be a couple more big ones. I mean, after the at least one of these dominoes is going to lead to another really big domino coming up, so it's going to be exciting.
It's like waves that I'm looking at right now as we are live in Hawaii. Do you know I'm in Hawaii right now? It's crazy.
Hey, I knew that, but here's the real question. How many McDonald's did Gorham make you stop off after he read that article about the French fries? Are you guys stopping every block at a McDonald's?
You know what's funny? So Jeff is not with me. I'm solo on this one. So, but here,
that's a bummer.
It is a bummer, but you know what? That's funny you bring that up because I did see it on Twitter, and I made a note of it. So when we come back after this segment, I am going to ask Jeff about it because I don't know. I'm hoping he saw that. But, yeah, so a chemical in McDonald's fries cures baldness?
That's what it said, man. If that's true, Jeff Gorham's got a lot of eating to do, baby.
He's got a lot of catching up to do. Vinny, you're the best, brother, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, boss man. Talk to you soon.
All right, that's the great Vinny Fazio here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Again, remember, we will talk French fries with Jeff Gorham when we come back here on the Inland Sports Show. We are live in Hawaii. The Highlanders are taking on Hawaii tomorrow night. That's Wednesday night. It'll be 9 o'clock back home in the Inland Empire. 7 o'clock out here local time. We'll have that game live. I'll be on the call. 7 o'clock at GoHighlanders.com. When we come back, Jeff will join us. We'll talk French fries with Jeff. We'll also talk about the upcoming NBA trade deadline. I'm sure we're gonna talk about it again tomorrow because the trade deadline is Thursday. We're getting closer and closer, and it looks like a lot of teams are going to be on the move. Also, a lot of big names in the NBA could be trading jerseys, so we'll see what's going to go on before the NBA trade deadline as we bring Jeff Gorham back onto the show after this break. Again, it's the Inland Sports Show, and we are live and amplified on the shores of Waikiki. We'll be back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. And welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, broadcasting live on the beaches of Hawaii, Waikiki, here on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. So half of the Inland Sports Show is here in Hawaii. The other half is in Menifee, California. Right, Jeff?
I am in Shangri-La, my friend. Shangri-La.
Hey, before we get to food, because I know that's your second favorite subject after Star Wars, is food. Yes. So our good friend Chris Chaddick is blowing us up on our phones because he's a big fan of Vinny Fazio, and he just heard the Vinny Fazio interview live as we broke the news, as Vinny Fazio is now the offensive coordinator at Los Osos. So Coach Chaddick wanted to chime in and say, hey, did you guys realize that his first game as the defensive coordinator at Carter High School, Chris Chaddick, will be against Vinny Fazio, the offensive coordinator in Los Osos. So Fazio versus Chaddick, former Valley College head coach, which remember Vinny and I did the Valley College football game, so we saw Chris Chaddick in action in his defensive line. Fazio versus Chaddick, game one.
Dude, two of my favorite guys. We might, I do the Riverside TV games with our boy Gazal, but I might have to bypass the game just to go watch that one and kind of sit at midfield and just giggle.
Fazio versus Chaddick, round one, as they both, again, Chaddick will make his debut as the defensive coordinator for Carter, going head-to-head with Vinny Fazio making his debut as the offensive coordinator for Los Osos and his good buddy Alex Pierce. You know, our phones have been blowing up, and something that you got on your end, before we get to French fries, Jeff, something that you got on your end was a message from our good friend Wild Bill, Coach Cardosi at Kaiser High School.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were talking about Matheny and was it
Coach Mariani? Yeah, the DC out there at University of Redlands and former Fontana Steeler great.
Yeah, Billy Cardosi is the biggest Italian I know, and I'm telling you this.
He's old school Italian, right? Like old school Rialto Fontana Italian.
Yes, and I don't think it's fair that you can't even mention him because you look at those guys and they're pretty svelte, but nobody's built like the Italian Billy Cardosi. That gut right there, the perfect gut made out of strictly Italian food, and I'm telling you, Billy Cardosi's my go-to guy for Italian food.
It's made strictly out of Italian food?
He is made, if you look at him, he's made out of penne pasta. That's all he is.
Well, he might be the wild card in all this.
Hey, his blood is so thick of Italian blood that when he bleeds, it's ragu.
It just comes out with some balls.
Yeah, it's just ragu. If he gets like a cut, like if he nicks himself shaving, it's ragu.
It's ragu. Well, I'm sure he's listening right now. So if we can put this together, this is something we'd have to do in the off season because during season, you know how head football coaches get. They're all tuned in. They're watching film every single day of the week. So if we can do this during the off season, we'll get Coach Matheny, Coach Cardosi, we'll get Coach Mariani at the University of Redlands. And I think the real winners in this, Jeff, would be us because we'll probably get to eat all their food.
You're darn right. I think we need to do it in the parking lot of our studio.
Ooh, that's not too bad. Because our studio is pretty small. We can't get them all in the studio and have them cooking up pasta and doing all that.
We can't get Mariani and Cardosi even in the room, for gosh sakes. So what you do is you get an easy up.
So what you do here?
You get an easy up, and you put those guys outside. They're slicing up the garlic. They're making the penne pasta. Ooh, the fazool. Oh yeah, the risotto. Or what did I say? Wait. What is the cheese?
Ricotta.
The ragout. You got to get the ragout, not the regatta, the ragout. Yeah, those guys are making a nice ragu. I want to see it. Let's do it. Let's set it up.
Well, maybe we can just make it happen, and we'll have an Italian food kickoff, the one and only on the Inland Sports Show. And again, the big winners will be us because we'll get to taste all that stuff. Yeah, as Coach Fazio put it, Coach Mariani throws hands in the kitchen every single weekend as he's always posting pictures about the pasta and the sauces that he's working on. So I don't know if there was a favorite, if there was like a New England Patriots, it would be him. And I guess Coach Matheny would wear the underdog mask like the Philadelphia Eagles. But look, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, so you just never know. Yeah,
but man, I'm telling you, my bet's on Cardosi. I'm telling you.
Hey, again, congratulations to Coach Vinny Fazio, now the offensive coordinator at Los Osos, and Chris Chaddock, the new defensive coordinator at Carter High School, the former coach of Los Osos, school of Alex Pierce, who's now at Los Osos, so it's kind of weird. It's all kind of full circle there. But Coach Fazio brought up a good point, Jeff, and he put this out on Twitter for the entire world to see, is that McDonald's, I guess, has a chemical in their fries that will prevent baldness. Did you see that on Twitter?
Yeah, I saw it. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I've been eating McDonald's fries religiously, weekly.
Didn't help at all?
Daily. Huh?
It didn't help at all?
It just grew on my back. It didn't grow on my head. Yeah, I look like George the Animal Steel, man, without my shirt on. I have to have my wife shave my back every season. Yeah, and I blame the French fries.
So maybe we need to go further in depth, because maybe they can claim that they prevent baldness. They just didn't say exactly where.
No, if it's maybe you don't have to eat it. Maybe I should just rub French fries on my head.
If you do, save that for the studio. I'd love to see that. We got to get that on camera.
Hey, I do love the smell of a good McDonald's French fries. They do put an addictive chemical in their food, because we talk about every day we stop and I get a coffee for us. I get Greg a soda pop, because the McDonald's Coca-Cola is the best formula of Coca-Cola in the world. Is it not?
Something they do, something about the mixture between the carbonation and the syrup, and so whatever they do, they make it just right. And everything they pump out, I'm sure none of it's good for you, but it's all good. We all love it. I mean, shoot, they built a McDonald's around the corner from our station, and that's practically our hangout.
And I'm telling you, it keeps me alive. All the preservatives in that food. I'm going to be 150 still eating French fries and Big Macs.
Hey, Jeff, stop what you're doing. I just saw a New York Mets shirt walking down the sidewalk. It might be Lenny Dykstra. It might be Mookie Wilson. I'm not sure.
No, both of those guys would probably be in prison, my friend.
Well, you said Honolulu is a rough town, right?
Yeah, Lenny Dykstra, he's a rough guy. I mean,
yeah,
think about all the insider trading.
Nails Dykstra.
Yeah, those are your guys. And Mookie, did you say Mookie Wilson?
Mookie Wilson, man, that's my boy. Darryl Strawberry, Mookie, Howard Johnson, that's my guys. Hojo. So I'm looking out at the beach, and again, last night flying in from LAX into Honolulu, I saw an Eagles hat, I saw an Eagles jersey, and I saw an Eagles jacket. I saw nothing of the New England Patriots. So I like to do that jersey game wherever I go, especially in a place like this where it's very, very touristy, where you get people from all over the place. Like when I go to Disneyland, I make a mental note of all the random jerseys I find. Like I'll walk around and be like, oh, Drew Brees. Oh, look over here. It's a, Bryce Harper, Washington Nationals. Like all these random jerseys you see from around the world, around the country. But I've not seen anything super random yet here in Honolulu, but I always like to keep track because, again, you bring in people from all over the world into one place here like Honolulu.
Well, think about it this way. My favorite part of the Super Bowl or a national championship or a World Series is usually like the next week. You look up, like you'll see a news story on the internet, and it'll say live from Papua New Guinea, and they show pictures of people wearing like, it'll say the New England Patriots Super Bowl champions 2018.
That's right. They got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, so they send them up to like Papua New Guinea or
they got to go somewhere.
Afghanistan. And you see kids playing soccer in the dirt with rocks, and they're wearing like Super Bowl jerseys.
New England Patriots, 2018 Super Bowl champs.
Exactly, man. That's my favorite part.
I would love one of those.
That would be sweet. Or, a hat. You see some guy walking around in a hat somewhere in Europe.
You know what I want, Jeff, and I'm sure they're out there somewhere if you look real hard? Sacramento Kings 2002 NBA champions. They're out there.
No one actually made those, my friend.
I know they didn't make it to the finals, the NBA finals, but I'm sure they're out there because it was a done deal. I'm sure they printed out millions of those, and they were ready to be shipped out because it was a done deal until the NBA and the Lakers had a conspiracy going on with Kobe Bryant. He's probably all in his little storybook for kids. I'm sure it's all in there.
Hey, was that the Vlade years?
That was the Vlade years, man. That was the team was Vlade and Chris Webber, Doug Christie, Peja Stojakovic, and Mike Bibby. And then coming off the bench, you had Bobby Jackson, who might have been my favorite king of all time. I loved Bobby Jackson. Scott Pollard, Hedo Turkoglu. that was the team. That was your 2002 NBA champions.
Well, do you know why they lost, right?
Yeah, because it was fixed. I do know why.
No.
It wasn't?
Vlade Divac was smoking 6 packs a game of Pall Malls.
He is Eastern European, and I think they do enjoy the cigarette, but I don't think that's true.
Oh, no, it's true. It is true. I remember, though, seriously, if you look up, there's pictures of him, like, at halftime smoking cigarettes.
You know, that might be a real Vlade move. Like flopping. That might be a real Vlade move. But, I covered the 2002 Western Conference Finals, and there was a lot of suspicious things, Jeff, going down at Arco Arena. I can tell you for fact, Mike Bibby had a knot on his forehead because, remember, he was bald-headed like you. Even though he ate lots of McDonald's, he was bald-headed, and he had a huge knot on his head, big, like size of 2 eggs that you'd eat in the morning. He had 2 eggs in his head where Shaq elbowed him in the face, like above his eye and his forehead, and he never got called for it because the NBA wanted the Lakers in the finals. There's proof. I have it. There's video. I have video of it. It's on a tape buried in my garage.
You know what else was played in Arco Arena all those years?
What?
Bad basketball.
Get out of here. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we will talk about the NBA trade deadline. Jeff has a theory, and the more and more we hear these reports, Jeff, you might actually be right about this. We talked about this the other week about Kawhi Leonard, and you might be right.
I have been telling you this for a week, and I've been looking on all these sites. People are listening to I don't know if it's what I have to say or it's just I've been kind of like studying. But I'm telling you, some of my things might come to fruition.
Hey, our ratings are way up, and I'm sure there's people out there hearing your theories, and it looks like they might actually happen.
Hey, let's just say this. The ratings have tripled since we've taken over.
Are you sure you didn't misread them? You're not a real strong reader. I just don't know.
I'm not very strong. I'm not a very strong swimmer. But, hey, you know it's true. We looked at the Nielsen's, and the Nielsen's don't lie, my friend.
The numbers don't lie.
Tripled. Numbers don't lie. We have tripled.
It's big time here, and we're also live from Hawaii. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about the NBA trade deadline, which is looming on Thursday. Jeff has a theory about Kawhi Leonard, and the more and more we look into this, Jeff might actually be right. We are live in Hawaii. It's the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. And welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Coming up strong here in our final hour of the show. We're broadcasting live from Waikiki in Hawaii. Beautiful weather, Jeff. It's wonderful. I wish you were out here with me. It's just a single bed, so you had to stay back home. But you're enjoying some quiet time at home, I guess, because the kids are out of the house, so you can just sit back and look at all these potential NBA trades that might unfold before Thursday at noon Pacific time.
Well, I have moved inside. I am sitting at a chair on my island in the kitchen. It's quiet. Mom took the kids out. She's teaching tonight, and she took the kids over to Grandpa's in Carlsbad. So I have a little bit of alone time here in the quiet house. It's great.
Well, the NBA trade line is coming up on Thursday, and I'm sure we'll talk about this again tomorrow because a lot of stuff can happen between now and tomorrow and certainly by noon on Thursday. But let's rewind just a couple of days ago, actually maybe like a week or two ago, you put out there a theory that Kawhi Leonard could end up on the L.A. Lakers. And nobody was talking about this, Jeff. Nobody had mentioned a possible Kawhi Leonard, the pride of King High School, going to the Lakers. Now there's a report out today about LeBron and the Lakers, but it affects Kawhi Leonard now. What did you read?
Okay, I haven't read much other than I've first of all, Kawhi Leonard had a free clinic Sunday at King High School.
Oh, he did this past week?
This past week, he was at King High School along with Coach Hudson from San Diego State. They did a free clinic at King High School.
Oh.
So I wish I'd have known. I would have showed up and asked him. I'd have said, hey, what's going on, Kawhi?
Yeah.
But, okay, here's what my whole theory is. Let's start back in Cleveland. I think Cleveland is imploding. And I mean this in a simple fact is, do you remember at the tail end of Kobe's career, nobody wanted to play with Kobe?
Yes.
I'm starting to see his trend here, the same thing in Cleveland. I think LeBron James, I mean, he's the best player in the world physically, but I think he's hard on his guys. He's hard on his coaches. He brings a lot of drama and baggage with his entourage. And I think guys are kind of done playing with him.
Yeah, the circus definitely comes to town, when he's on your team. So what happened was, okay, so they're saying the LeBron to Lakers, isn't going to happen, and it's because the Lakers are already looking ahead to the next offseason, right? And that's where they could bring in Kawhi Leonard. There's reports out all over the place, and that's something that you already called.
Yeah, I looked at the Lakers and I said, Kawhi has 2 years left. He has this year and next year with the Spurs. And I don't think they trade Kawhi Leonard unless he demands it. Then you would probably do a sign and trade, but you could do a sign and trade with the Lakers now. But, if he decides not to, because he's one of those players that has a no trade clause as well as LeBron James. LeBron James, the front office, I'm sure, wants to trade him. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you can get great players by trading LeBron James. Instead of leaving them high and dry at the end of next year, next year, why would you not try to get the most out of it? Because he's going to kill a franchise like he did once before in Cleveland. So I know the owners want to get rid of LeBron because he doesn't want to be there. But on the flip side, the Lakers are looking at it and say, do we want that baggage? Do we want that drama? They already have drama in Larry Ball and Lonzo Ball. And, he really hasn't panned out because he hasn't played. The Lakers are playing really good basketball. I believe they've won 10 out of 14. They've got young guys. They've got Kuzma. Julius Randle's going to be off the books. They're going to have enough space in 2 years to sign maybe a guy. There's 3 guys that they're targeting: Kawhi Leonard, Klay Thompson, and Minnesota's Jimmy Butler. Those guys are all very young and will be in their prime for the next 6 or 7 years. Why would you not wait if you're a Laker fan and if you're the front office, you're Magic Johnson and you're Rob Pelinka? Why would you not think of, I can get 3 guys that are in their prime rather than a guy who's going to bring drama to Lonzo, and you have both of those guys, that's going to cause problems. You get 3 guys, no baggage, no problems, because Kawhi Leonard's a professional. Klay Thompson has Laker roots, and Jimmy Butler is one of those guys that is just plays his heart out every single game.
Yeah, for the Lakers, it sounds like a no-brainer. Wouldn't you rather go young and get more great players? And again, the Ball family and LeBron on the same team, that sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, and you got to look at it this way. Paul George is, he's getting long in the tooth. He's a good player. And granted, it'd be really nice to say, hey, the Lakers have LeBron James, Paul George. DeMarcus Cousins was on that list, but why would you go out and get a guy who has a torn Achilles? Let's think of the old guys. Remember Stanley Roberts, that was a very promising player out of LSU?
Yeah.
Played with Shaq. He was a true center on that LSU team. He came into the league, he was 300 pounds, 7'1", and there was a bright future. He goes and tears his Achilles. He rehabs. The very first game he comes back, he tears his other Achilles, and he's done. Never plays. He played spot minutes here and there over the next 4 or 5 years, but was never the great player. Why would you risk the reward of signing DeMarcus Cousins, who's possibly could be done forever?
Well, I'm very curious to see what the Spurs do with Kawhi Leonard. Again, all those reports that there's some discontent between he and the front office. How real is it? I don't know, but it's kind of weird that he would come out and do a basketball camp, if that's true, out here in Riverside during the season. Because even if you're not playing, even if you're injured, I just want to see the sign that you're a good teammate and that you're still going to be around the team, even if you're not on the floor and playing right now. I mean, am I I know it's a business, but am I being too naive about this? That's what a good teammate does?
Well, they're NBA guys, and and he's not going through the doctors of San Antonio. Remember, he's going through a private doctor.
Yeah.
So that's where I think the malcontent is with the front office and Kawhi, is that he's using his own doctor. He's not using a team doctor. So there's been reports that he is unhappy. I would love to see. I think everybody would love to see Kawhi Leonard playing for the Lakers. Even if you keep Lonzo, you have Lonzo, you would have Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is a phenomenal shooter. It's tough seeing him leave Golden State because I think he's the glue of that team. I really do. But if he's a Laker, hey, that'd be great. His dad was a great Laker. Why not him? And Jimmy Butler. Those are 3 studs to go along with a Kuzma, possibly, if they don't trade him, and Lonzo Ball. Those are good players.
Well, Jeff, you have it all figured out for the Lakers. Tomorrow we'll talk more about the NBA trade deadline, especially if anything unfolds overnight between now and tomorrow as we get closer to Thursday at noon. That is the official trade deadline. We'll see if LeBron's name comes up again. He's got a no-trade clause. If Kawhi Leonard's name comes up at all, those are probably 2 long shots, but you just never know if those 2 names will be linked to some kind of deal that's out there. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, again, we are live at Hawaii. We'll get you all set for tomorrow and also talk about some big high school basketball games going down tonight. It's the Inland Sports Show, live from Hawaii on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. And welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM, as we are live and amplified from Hawaii. We'll be here today. We'll also be here tomorrow, broadcasting live as we get you ready for UC Riverside taking on Hawaii. Oh, Jeff, there's another bird. He's looking at me. Get out of here, bird. I'm serious. Like, if you're watching me around on the channel right now. Uh-oh, he cocked his head to the side. That's not good.
Flick it in its head.
Don't even jump over here to my balcony. He's like on the balcony right next to me, and he's looking this way like, ooh, do you got any food over there? Get out of here, dude. Get out. I'm shaking my foot at him. No. No.
Throw a shoe at it.
I might have to. Only thing I have is my Starbucks cup. But we are live in Hawaii, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. Highlanders in Hawaii tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Pacific time there in the Inland Empire. Big games tonight. High school basketball. We've got a three-way tie for first place, Jeff, in the Southwestern League between Murrieta Mesa, Great Oak, and Temecula Valley. And Mesa and Temecula Valley going head-to-head tonight, Jeff. That's a huge game in the Southwestern League. Yeah,
I mean, those guys have been beating each other up all year long. You know, we know a couple of the coaches. You know, some of those guys said, hey, you know, they took some tough losses, but the three teams we thought were going to be in the thick of it they ended up weathering the storm, and tonight we could get a true champion.
Yeah, very competitive. That's going to be a huge game coming up. Also, we have Citrus Hill and Beaumont playing in the Mountain Pass League tonight. That will also determine the league champion there. And then we also have Riverside Poly taking on the Rancho Verde High School in the Inland Valley League. Poly's a game back of the Mustangs and JW North, who ironically will play on the final night of league play coming up on Thursday. So we'll talk more about that game. But tonight, Poly and Rancho Verde. If Poly can pull off a victory against Rancho Verde High School, then they would pull into a first place tie with the Mustangs going into that final night of league play.
Yeah, but John W. North, if John W. North wins tonight and beats Rancho Verde, they're champions all by themselves.
Big games tonight. We appreciate you listening and watching to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Proudly brought to you by our good friends at Spoiled. Quick quality oil change. You'll be spoiled by their great customer service and low prices. Make sure you take your car to Spoiled off Alessandro Boulevard. Ken Sporting Goods, more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, taking care of all your sporting gear needs, plus Letterman's jackets. Check out kensportinggoods.com. They'll even bling out that jacket for you. Boost Performance Training. Make sure you go check out that strength and speed class. You got to be stronger, you got to be faster, and that first class is absolutely free. Only if you mention Jeff Gorham when you go through the door. And Catalana Motors in Corona, where you can buy, trade, and finance a car, or truck, or minivan. You've got high expectations when buying a new vehicle. Make sure Catalana Motors gives you an opportunity to exceed those expectations. They're committed to excellence, just like Derek Carr and the Raiders. They're off Temescal Canyon Road in Corona. Hey, Jeff, coming up tomorrow on the Inland Sports Show, we will break down National Signing Day. It is a huge deal everywhere you look. People are talking about National Signing Day and which college football team is going to come out on top. You excited about this?
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about doing the coaches show at Lake Alice tomorrow night.
That's right. You've got the UC Riverside Coaches Show as well. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Again, we will be live here in Hawaii as UC Riverside will take on Hawaii tomorrow night at GoHighlanders.com. For Jeff Gorham, I'm Pep Fernandez. We'll see you again tomorrow, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock live from Hawaii. It's the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM.
Hey, Pep.
Yes.
Aloha.